Oh, hello, Melinda. Excuse me. Let me turn this down. I think I'm talking too loud. Thank you for coming. You're the first one I see here. Um, just pinned in the message up there. For anybody that wants to come up, they're more than welcome. It doesn't have to be anyone in particular. As the thing says, Merry Christmas. We have Christmas coming this Wednesday. It feels like Christmas around here. It started snowing Friday afternoon, early afternoon actually, and it kept snowing till late this morning. How you doing, Hans? Thank you for coming. We'll give you a blue jacket. Melanie, how you doing, Melanie? Welcome, welcome. Hey, Mike, how you been, man? Crystal, how you doing? Good to see you all. Like I was saying, yeah, early Merry Christmas. And it feels like Christmas here, Mike. It started snowing yesterday, Friday, around 12 o'clock, maybe a little before. I'm talking about noon, between 11 and noon, somewhere in there. And it snowed till this morning, about 10:30, probably close to 10:30 to 11. So it snowed for almost 24 hours. I finally went out and cleaned my car off. Well, Mike Hunt, how you doing, sir? Welcome. The link's at the top for anybody that wants to join me. Like I said, it started snowing yesterday, kept snowing. I had plans for last night that I was going to do with some friends, but due to the snow, that got canceled. It usually takes me about 40, 45 minutes to drive home. The route I take home, I take a slower route. It took me over an hour and a half last night to get home. It was just one big hassle. The snow was. So it was just something I had to put up with, and I went ahead and did that. And so I was going to go to a Christmas display. It's free. I will make it. It'll probably be tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be able to make it because it's closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. So if I can make it tomorrow, I'll go. I'll get a film of it, and I'll put it up Tuesday, which will be it'll be Christmas Eve in the Philippines, and actually in the afternoon. We'll see if we can get that up. We got Mike Hunt coming up.
Hello.
Mike, how you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing, sir?
Not too bad. Like I said, here's some information I haven't shared with anybody yet, or at least any of you guys yet. The job I was working at ended yesterday. It was the last day of the job. So I'm going to a new site, but that won't start probably until after the first of the year. But there's some temporary spots if I want to go cover them. I'm trying to decide how much I want to work. Thinking about working Christmas Day and then maybe the 30th, 31st, and the 1st. Well, Christmas Day, I'm a single man with no children. And so it's probably better for me to work it than somebody else. But I decided I'm going to. The next job site I'm going to, round trip is less than what I drive just to get to work. One way is less than 6 miles.
Wow.
And it pays more than what I was making at this other job because it's in security, which is what I work. Your job, the site that you work at determines the pay you make because it's a different contract. So
is it a good contract then?
Well, it pays more.
That's good.
I don't know how much I'm going to like it. I like the job I was at.
Yeah.
But but this one pays a little more. It's not a lot more. It's a little more, but it'll also save me the time. The earliest I'll start will be at 7. It's going to be a fluctuating shift. I'm going to work like a 7 to 5, an 8 to, I want to say 8:30 to 2:30. I believe that's what it is. And then what is it? 8 to 6, I think. So it's going to be like 2 10-hour shifts. So it won't be as many hours. It'll be 2 10-hour shifts, a 6.5-hour shift, and then they'll work me a couple other places to get me closer to 40. But that's what it is. It's going to be like 7 to 5 on Friday, 8:30 to 2:30 on Saturdays. I'll probably have Sundays off, and then I'll work 8 to 6 on Monday if I remember what the schedule was. And then I'll pick up a site somewhere else. If I could pick up a 12-hour shift, that would be enough. Give me 4 days. Hey, Derek, welcome, sir. Hazel, thank you for coming.
Hey, Hazel.
And so we're just, like I said, we're just, as most of you know, not everybody, because there's some new people in here I just gave jackets to, so they probably don't know, but most of you guys already know. I want to retire within a couple of years if I can and move to the Philippines.
Yeah. You got a goal.
Well, but I got to work. I got to continue working because I got to save up enough money to make it feasible. I mean, right now I got enough money coming in. If I quit working, I could go and live in the Philippines comfortably. But then what happens if something goes wrong? Hey, Jerry, welcome, man. So something goes wrong and you hadn't saved up any money, then you might. Hey, every man, I'm sorry to hear about Mark. He passed away. So yeah. So Mark from Every Man Has a Story actually passed away here recently. It's been on some of the channels from the guys that blog in Dumageddon. I was sorry to hear about
Adventure.
That, but it's a sad. I mean, the guy's. I think he was a little older than I am. I'm not sure, but he has a baby at home. I guess he had a heart attack. And,
No.
Yeah, you're right. Every man repeats. Every man had a story. Like I said, he passed away. Sorry to hear. He's got a little baby, probably less than a year or 2 years old, something like that. I mean, not very old at all. So, like I said, I not really 70, so he's actually a little younger than me. All right. And so that's a sad thing. Like I said, that's young to me. But like I said, I told many of you already, I can't really go even if I had the money right now because my mom's still alive. She'll be 99 next month. And matter of fact, I got to remember, I got a sister whose birthday's tomorrow. I got to call her tomorrow. But yeah, like I said, my mom in less than a month now, she'll be 99 years old. And she'll tell you she doesn't want to live to be 100. But as I told her, I said, Mom, that's up to the good Lord. And she goes, I know, but I don't want to live to be 100. Every man has a story is different than every man repeats a story. So they're two different people. Every man, I guess, lived in the Dumageddon area, and he passed away. If you go check out Geo, you go check out Old Dog. You go, hey Anna G. You go check out. I'm trying to think of some of the other bloggers there in the in Dumaguete area, they all happen to mention, that he passed away. I'm actually pretty healthy for my age. I still work, like I said, about 40 hours a week. I walk. Right now, I have trouble with my arches. They started giving me trouble. I used to walk 3 miles or so a day. Okay. But anyway, so I'm trying to get my arches straightened out. I've got special arch supports through the VA. If these don't work, I'll go in. They'll take a mold of my feet and build me a pair of arch supports to my exact measurements of my feet.
To the
arch
VA.
support, yeah, the arch supports I'm using, you can't buy at the store. Okay, they're designed for my shoes. They're designed for the problems I'm having. They checked it out, but they have some that are they're generic, but it's for, well, if you have this and you have this, we got these. And like I said, they're designed to fit. Like if you wore a nines, they'd bring out one that would fit the nines. They might have to trim them if you have a narrow foot. I have a foot so wide they don't even have to trim them to narrow them down. But it comes out. I wear a 10. It came out with a 10, went right in. Nothing needed to be done to it. My feet are feeling a little better, but I still haven't been able to walk as much as I used to walk. That may be because I hadn't been able to walk that much for a few months. It's been a few months. And I used to walk at work. I'd always get 10,000 steps in or more. Then I'd walk more, and my feet never bothered me. I used to go to the gym. Last year, I would go to the gym and get on the treadmill and walk for about an hour without stopping at an incline of 3. And I did that. I even did that a few years ago when I was even heavier than I am now. I'd walk at an incline of 3 at a speed of 3, do 3 miles an hour. And it was nonstop. I never had trouble with my feet. My knees felt better. My back felt better. All that was better. But then we had how should we say this? The international problem that we had. I don't want to say something that might get me in trouble. And so they shut things down, and then they sold the business where I was working at, and they got rid of all the gym equipment. I used to be able to do it at work right after work. I could go up there after I got off work and use the treadmill every day at work. So I did it about 4 or 5 days a week. I worked 5 days a week, but I didn't always do it every day. And I belong to a gym now. I was going to the gym, but I started having trouble with my feet. And then no, I only wear a size 10. That's not that big. I do have a very wide foot. I have a foot so wide, whenever I buy a pair of shoes, I gotta buy the widest they make, and sometimes I can't wear those. I have like a 4 to 5X wide foot. What can I say? I mean, I got a very wide foot, but I only wear a 10. And I'm not admitting defeat. Now, like I said, I'm having my feet checked, and if these don't work out, and they want me to try them out for 3 months, and if my feet aren't better, then I'll go in, and like I said, that's when I'll get the specially made inserts for my shoes. And now, they won't cost me an arm and a leg because I'm getting it through the VA. And
They'll still make you pay for that.
But very little. Very little.
Because I got mine for free.
Yeah. Well, I'll get mine. It'll cost me maybe $10, $15.
The guy said it was a 13, though.
Huh?
Guy said it was a 13 wide.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, Mengay, how you doing? But like I said, I haven't checked to see if I had to pay for these new ones they gave me. But like I said, if you go through the VA, if you're a veteran, which I am, everything's a lot cheaper. My medicine's like $8 a month. It could cost you with insurance, let's say if you went and bought it without insurance and you didn't get a discount, it could cost $150, $200. I pay $8,
Yeah.
no matter what the medicine is. It does not matter. It might go up to 10, but I think right now it's still $8. And I go see my doctor. That's like $10 maybe.
Yeah.
Same thing about they send me to a specialist. It's the same thing. I don't pay any more.
I'm picking up my shoes on the 6th.
Yeah.
The ones they made for me.
Like I said, I don't have that big of a foot. But but I'm only 5'8". You know?
Yeah. Well, I'm 6'3", 6'4".
Well, my dad was that tall. Okay, he was. My mom's only like 5'2", 5'3". I'm almost in the middle, not quite. I'm a little more on my mother's side. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Both of my brothers happen to be, they're dead, but both my brothers happen to be around 6 foot. I think my older brother was 6 and my younger brother was like 5'11". So they were closer to Dad's height. And then all 4 of my sisters are shorter than I am. And I'm taller than my mom's dad. He was shorter than me. Now, her grandfather, who I'm named after, was about my height, maybe a little taller. But, now her dad and her granddad, which is her dad's dad, they and her older brother all lived to be around 92 years old or a little older. But they all lived around 92. Now, her Uncle Orange on her mother's side, he lived to be about 97, 98 himself. He got close to 100 himself. But that was, I want to say that was her great uncle, but it might have just been her uncle. I want to say it was her uncle. I want to say it was her mother's brother, not her mother's uncle. But it was same lineage. I mean, their last names were Price. So I mean, it was like her dad's brother or her brother. So, but like I said, he lived to be about 97, 98. And a couple of years before he passed away, like I said, I'm from Terre Haute, Indiana. And they grew up in Philippa, West Virginia. There's an Indian reservation right out, a Native American reservation, whatever you want to call it, right outside of Philippa. That's where my grandmother and her sister and her brothers were raised on the reservation. Yes, I'm part Native American, but I'm so little I don't even claim it on any logs. It's not. I've never tried to use that to get ahead. And hello, Julianne. Man, we got Eddie coming up.
Hey.
Hey, Eddie, how you doing?
Hey, Eddie.
Springfield.
Now, which Eddie is this?
I got an 8-inch cock that's fat.
Oh, yeah, you better drop out. He dropped himself out. If he comes in again, we'll get rid of him.
Yeah. But, do we have people in the chat that has wrench?
There's people that have a wrench that can put them in timeout, but they can't. I don't have anybody that has the monitor or the ability to go in and delete people. I mean, they can put them in timeout and block their messages, but there's a difference where they can go in and do more if you give them a little bit more. I think LV has that, but I don't know how much more they can do. If they write something in the logs in the chat, anybody with a wrench can go in and block it. And they can also put him in a timeout, I believe. If they can, I can, because I will do that. I'll give him the longest timeout I can give him. So
I can't believe he did that.
Oh, I can. There's people out there. That's all they're trying to do is cause trouble. And now, well, Tom, if you want to come up, I'm going to have to see your picture. If you can't show your picture and I'm not bringing you up, I just had somebody come up and cause me trouble. I'm not going through that again. From now on, if you can't show your face, I won't bring you up.
Yeah.
And so, that's all there is to it. You can change your name as many times as you want and come back up and say something, just like Eddie did. I mean, he can go in and create another account and come back up and say something smart again. That's why I said, if you can't show your face, don't bother coming up, because I'm not going to bring you up anymore. That's one of the things I can do to cut down on that kind of stuff. So be fair warned. Anybody that wants to come up, you have to be willing to show who you are. And because we're not going to let you hide in behind a mask of a. I can't think of how to say the word anonymity. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're going to have to show who you are. Oh, Mike, now you're making me jealous, buddy. Now you're making me jealous. I'm talking about Mike married to a beautiful woman. He just got his tickets for the Philippines, leaving March 3rd. Cost me $1,300 a return. And that means he got round trip. Okay. Right, Mike? That's what it means? Now, I'm going to tell you something about March 3rd that's important to me. March 3rd, 1972 is the day I went active into the United States Navy. Now, that was a Friday that year. You can look it up if you want. But March 3rd, 1972 was a Friday. I got sworn in the AFIS, Armed Forces, whatever the rest of it means, in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I was wearing if you guys remember the old CPO jackets, the light ones, they were just like a heavy flannel shirt. That's all they were. I had some that were lined, I had a winter lining, but this was just a spring or fall one. And Mike just said, yes, round trip. That is a great price, Mike, round trip. That is really a great price, if you ask me. That's $650 each way. That's a great price. But anyway, I go to Indianapolis, and there's at least 6 inches of snow on the ground, and it's cold out. I get out. My mom and dad took me up. I could have went with the recruiter. They took up a bunch of people that went in. So anyway, my parents took me up because after that they wouldn't see me for about almost 3 months. So they took me up to go take me in. And I get out of a nice warm car, walk into a nice warm building, and I got all these people there looking at me like I'm nuts. I'm just wearing this spring fall jacket, like. And so they tell me, aren't you cold? I said, well, I just got out of a nice warm car, walked into a nice warm building. I said, where are you going? And they were either going to Florida or California because they had Great Lakes, Illinois boot camp shut down because there were some problems there. So all of us were either going to California or Florida. And one guy I knew that was going in, that I knew that went in the same day. He went to Florida. I went to California. Anyway, I said, look, I just got out of a nice warm car. I walked into a nice warm building. When I leave here, I'm going to walk maybe 10 feet, get in a nice warm vehicle. They're going to take me to the airport. I'm going to get out of that vehicle, walk into a nice warm airport. And then when I leave there, I'm going to get onto a nice warm plane. I'm going to fly to California, where it's nice and warm compared to here. Yeah. So I don't need anything heavy. So we fly, we get to San Diego, and they pick us up. And these guys with the winter coats were peeling them off and carrying them. I just opened up the buttons and was quite comfortable that way. Now, the only time I wish I had a heavier jacket was early in the morning, because that would get down in the 40s, at night in San Diego. But it would always get up to the 50s and 60s during the day. And like I said, this is in March. So, and when you left, we didn't go back after we left in the morning. So if you're wearing that on Saturday and Sunday, because we didn't get our uniforms till Monday, you got to wear what you brought. So in the morning, they felt a little, hey, Simply, how you doing, man?
Hey, Simply.
Let me give you a monitor. All right. But anyway, so like I said, in the morning they would have their jackets on, be quite comfortable. I'd be a little cool, but we're walking most of the time, not standing around, so no big whoop. And then in the afternoon, open it up, and I was quite comfortable again. And they would be carrying their jackets. And I'll tell anybody here now, if you're going to go in the military, don't go in on a Friday, because you're going to sit around for the whole week and not do a bloody thing the whole weekend. You're not going to do anything. The best time to go in is probably Monday. You'll get there. You'll get probably maybe I don't know if you'll be assigned a company that day, but the next day you'd be assigned a company and get all your uniforms and everything and start your boot camp. I got there on a Friday and I didn't get started till I want to say Tuesday. We got our uniforms on. Now, if you go in on a Sunday, that'd be a great day to go in. If they'll let you go in on a Sunday, I just don't know what they do. And that way, on Monday, then Tuesday, you're off and running. Now, my older brother taught me a lesson before I went in. He went in July 1st. Eddie, if you can't show your face, I'm not letting anybody come up. I've had one guy come up that wouldn't show his face and made a rude and vulgar comment, and I'm not having that on my channel. That was Ed the Org or something like that. I think this guy's trying to get up. And so anyway, on the 4th of July, his company sat around, and that didn't count towards his graduation because they didn't do anything. That's the same thing when I went in on Friday. That whole weekend didn't count towards my graduation. It's once you start your training.
What's up, Simply?
So it just, like I said, if you ever go in, now you and I are already in, but I've been in and out. But if there's any young people out there listening, take it from me. Don't go, if you're going to go in on the weekend, if you can, do it on a Sunday, not a Friday.
I think I was supposed to be there on Monday, and I got there Wednesday because of snow. We had the aircraft couldn't fly.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we don't see in Indiana, we don't get a lot of snow usually. So 6 inches, that's quite a bit of snow for Indiana. I mean, they do get a foot or so. Especially northern Indiana gets more. You get up around the lakes, they get a lot more snow.
Yeah.
I think he's talking to Simply E. He's wanting to know if he called LV yet. He's going to call his LV here in a little bit.
Yeah.
We both date women who are named LV. And yeah, San Diego, Texas is a very small town too there, Jerry. And I don't know about Freer, Texas, but we've talked about San Diego, Texas before. But so yeah, like I said, it just that was something I learned, and I just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So
yeah, same to you.
Derek Kim says I'll swap Edinburgh. I think Scotland for a day on your farm, Jerry. I'm not sure if that's pronounced Edinburgh. Edinburgh. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. Yeah, simply that. I was at 32nd Street, at both ends of 32nd Street. One end is where you have your destroyers, your destroyer tenders, your destroyer escorts, and stuff like that. And on the other ends where you have your Gator Navy. And I was on a destroyer tender the first time. Then I got on a LST. No, let's go in order. I went from a destroyer tender, AD-14, the USS Dixie, to a CGN-9, Long Beach. CGN is Guided Nuclear Cruiser. And that was at North Island or Coronado. That was North Island. So you go across the Coronado Bridge, get over to Coronado and North Island over there. And then after that, my next ship was an LST-1184, USS Frederick. And that was at the other end of 32nd Street. That's where the Gator Navy was at. And a Gator Navy, they call it that because they haul the Marines around and you haul all their equipment. An LST, I don't even know if they're in service anymore, is a flat bottom ship. If you ever watch a war movie and you're out at sea, they're still out at sea, and if you ever see the big ship, an LST will beach itself. What it does, it's expected to make 1.5 beach landings in actual combat. What that means is they're expected to get in twice and out once. That's the life expectancy of an LST in actual combat. What you do, like I said, you're flat bottom. So when you're so far out, don't ask me how far out because I never dealt with that part of it. They would drop the anchor and they'd run themselves aground. So they'd run themselves up on as far as up they could. And then they'd open up the front, the bow would open up and a ramp would come out and they'd drive their Jeeps and tanks and all that stuff off. The back end would drop down the stern and then they drive their aqueducts off that end. Now, the aqueduct is a ocean land vehicle that carries Marines troops, and they'll go in and it will sink under the water and then pop back up, and they drive around onto the beach. And like I said, their Jeeps, their tanks, everything else go off the front. And then once they're off, you use the anchor to wrench yourself back off the beach. So that's why you're only expected to make 1.5 because you're exposed. Now, my job during this at that back in those days was I was usually I want to say starboard side lookout. Starboard side lookout means I'm on the right side of the ship with binoculars looking out for airplanes coming at us, boats coming at us that are not part of our outfit. And then I report that to the bridge and let them know, hey, we got a boat, speedboat off the side, the port side and tell them about what clock it is. Now, I did report a few speedboats, but that's because we were off the coast of San Diego playing war games, and we ran ourselves aground, and there'd be regular civilian boats out there. I mean, we don't own the water. They go flying by and, hey, we got a speedboat going by. And sometimes there'd be girls on there waving at you and everything. And I tell you, I hated playing war games. We spent, 27 days, 21 days? I can't remember. Out at sea, off the coast of San Diego. And that's all we did, war games. We never went anywhere. We just kept beaching ourselves and doing other stuff. We were doing this because of another ship was being commissioned, brand new type of ship. So they were giving her sea trials to make sure she could do what they claimed the builders claimed she could do. Because like I said, brand new type of ship. And so we played war games. And while we were playing war games, Coronado is a place where they train SEALs. One of the places they have SEAL teams. And we're out there in the middle, or off the bay. We're actually in the ocean, and these SEALs are playing games. They're doing practice, high-speed checkups. And hey, Melinda. But anyway, the high-speed checkups, if you ever watch the movies, is where the SEALs in the water, and they use like a horse collar, one of those horse collars things, and they go by and grab them with that and toss them in the boat. And if they miss them, they leave them. And they were practicing that. And they missed a couple, and then they left them, did the other, then went back and picked them up. And they were out there playing almost all day. And at lunchtime, they came on board our ship. We dropped a cargo net over, and they climbed up the cargo net, came in, had lunch, and then went back and played some more games. And we got to watch that a little bit. So that was kind of interesting. The most interesting thing I ever seen, ALV, welcome.
ALV.
But anyway, the most interesting thing I ever seen on watch was in the Philippines. We were in Subic Bay. And when I was on the tender at that time, so we spent about 3 months in Subic. Because this tender's job is repairing other ships, and you do that in port, not underway usually. So that's why we were in port for 3 months. But I'm up on the deck watching, and where the aircraft carriers are practicing takeoffs, nighttime takeoffs and landings. But watching them take off, oh man, that was a trip. They'd take off, they'd have afterburners kicked in, and you see that flame just kicking out feet. I mean, like 10 feet or more behind the plane. It just flames. You watch them take off from the aircraft carrier, and every one of them would have those flames just, which would be harder to see during the day, but at nighttime it would just lit up the sky. That was really interesting to see. So there, but yeah, like I said, I spent almost 3 months in Subic Bay. That's where I first took up skin diving, snorkeling. And a friend of mine was into it and wanted somebody to go with him. So he taught me how to snorkel, and we went snorkeling almost every weekend. After I learned how, we'd go almost every Saturday just to do something besides going out and get drunk and chasing, because that's, I was 20. I turned 21 in the Philippines. All right. That's how long ago this been. And in the Philippines, in the Navy, they never carded you. If you walked into a bar and you had a military ID or you looked military, they never asked you how old you were. It's like, what do you want to drink? So I could drink beer or hard liquor or anything I want out in town. So I was always going out and getting drunk almost every night. And when you turn 21, they don't care. You're not getting a free drink. The day, like you would in the States, you turn 21 in the States, a lot of bars would give you a free drink. So you can get drunk by bar hopping and not spend a dime. Now your friends, if they went with you, would spend money, but you got to get drunk for free. And so to do something different on my 21st birthday, my buddies, Marv Juergens, Richard Brewer, who we called Rat, Rusty, I can't remember Rusty's last name. And I think that was it. I think it was just the four of us. But we decided we were going to do something different. So we went horseback riding. The base, Subic Bay naval base, had horses that you could go. And they had trails that you could ride on, so that's what we did. We went trail riding. And then I went and had a T-bone steak dinner. And then I went out and did like I did every night, got drunk. But that's how I celebrated my 21st birthday. Because I was in Subic Bay, Philippines. And so, just some old thoughts. So how you doing, Mike? Let's get you talking instead of just me.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm heading to Pennsylvania for Christmas.
Okay.
It's about a 5-hour drive for me.
Well, hopefully the weather cooperates.
Yeah. I'm taking my little partner with me.
Now, what part of Pennsylvania?
Southwestern. It's Washington, PA.
Okay. My oldest brother-in-law is from a place called Forest City. Forest.
Oh.
Like the
I
woods.
know where Ford City is.
No, he's from Forest City. His younger brother still lives there. He runs a insurance company. Now, I want to say it's Nationwide. I think it's an insurance company that he has. Now, his older brother lives. He's next to the younger. He has two brothers. My brother-in-law is the oldest. The one just younger than him lives in Cleveland. Like I said, his youngest brother is still in Forest City, which is not too far from Scranton, from my understanding.
Yeah.
I've never been there. I got friends that used to live in Erie. I've been there quite a few times.
Yeah, I know where Erie is.
Yeah, it's a nice little town, Erie.
Yeah.
I used to go out to the Pascal Isle, which is a peninsula. and they got a tribute there to what's his name? Oh, I can't think of it, but it's one of the Navy guys that helped defeat the British back in. I can't remember if it was the Revolutionary or if it was the War of 1812. But
Huh.
they got a thing out there that's in honor of him. So I guess that's where the battle took place, not too far from Erie, Pennsylvania. But I used to go out there. There's I want to say it's Beach 10. They got quite a few beaches on that peninsula. Glenda, how you doing? Welcome. And Chelsea, how you doing, Chelsea? I didn't say hi earlier. But on Beach 10, certain times of the year, they fly out. I guess it's a great place to fly kites because you'll go there and there'll be all kinds of people with all kinds of kites flying at Beach 10. And I mean, they'll have like 3 kites together or more.
Yeah.
And, but I haven't been there in a long. The only time I go to Erie now is I stop on my way back from Terre Haute and spend the night. I used to drive it straight through, and I have done it since where I'm living. I've done it straight through before, but it's for me from where I live to my sister's where I stay at is over 800 miles one way. So it's a nice long drive.
Oh yeah.
And I was going to stop in Batavia, which is my older sister lives outside of Batavia in a little place called Elba. And I was going to stop in Batavia and visit with my sister, my brother-in-law. And I think one of my nephews might have been home visiting his mom and dad. My nephew Tim. So I was going to stop and visit them and spend the night. And as I'm driving back, it's snowing like crazy. And I decided, well, I met him for lunch or dinner, actually. No, lunch at the time, late lunch, early dinner. And I told him, I said, I'm not staying. I'm going to keep going because of the weather. And because they were calling for heavy snow. And it's like, yeah, I better try to beat it. Now, I did run into it around Syracuse. And there for about an hour or two, it was really touch and go with how bad the snow was. But once I got past there, it was pretty well straight shot home. So then I talked to my sister the next day, and she goes, "You're probably better off that you did go home because they ended up getting quite a bit of snow." That's why I don't like to travel too much back home during the winter. You just don't know what's going to happen. And so I'd love to go home for my mom's birthday. But, you know, you got to go through Rochester area, Buffalo, Cleveland. I mean, Erie, Buffalo. I mean, you're going through too many places that get a lot of snow. And and you got to come back through those places too. So it's just not advisable to do that during the winter. Thank you, Julian. Thank you for coming. And so that's why I usually go home anywhere from the spring to the fall. And so that's what I do. I mean, I did it once in November. That's when I had that snow. I thought, November I should be okay. They're like, no, I better keep going.
Yeah, I'm all packed up. I'm pretty much ready to go. I'm gonna leave out probably about 5 o'clock in the morning. Get there about 10.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
I got to talk to Jerry a minute. Now, Jerry, should they have been going that fast through there? Jerry said there was a Union Pacific train that hit a semi in Pecos, Texas. The impact killed the 2 crew members in the locomotive train, and the train was doing 70 miles an hour. Hey, Setchbuchi, how you doing? But so yeah, it just that seems like awful fast through an area. If it was actually in this town itself,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going through a town, you should. I don't think you should be traveling that. Now, I don't mind it if it's out in the open and you're in between cities or town, doing 70. But if you're going through a town, though, Jerry goes. I don't know if you know this about Jerry, but Jerry is a big fan of trains,
Oh, okay.
and he has quite a few videos about trains. My favorite when he hadn't done one for a while. My favorite about the train is when he does the undercarriage. He'll put one of his cameras on the tracks and let the train go over, and you can see the undercarriage. And he's done a couple of those. I enjoyed those. So he says, yes, 70 is normal in many areas down here. Fastest is, but the fastest is supposed to be 50, huh? So they were about 20 miles over what they should have been. But yeah, it's for a train to stop. At that speed would take a few miles to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, especially now if it's got any weight behind it. Just the locomotive itself would take a while, but no, that's Bruce. You just said hi to you. I think you already told her hi, but she's saying hi.
Hi.
But yeah, so it's drinking my green tea.
That sounds good.
Yeah, but I drink it without sugar or cream.
Yeah.
I make it iced. I make it an iced tea. So
I like it with a little bit of honey.
yeah, that probably would be good. But okay. Jerry says 50 miles down here where he's at, a few hours north of 70 miles per hour is the speed limit. Okay. But now Jerry's got quite a few Christmas decoration videos up right now. As Jerry knows, I've watched not all of them, but I watched quite a few of them. Hey, Rhoda, how you doing? Merry Christmas. He's got this one of a parade up, and this GMC has got lights all. I mean, the GMC itself has lights all over the side, the top, the front, Christmas lights. It's really well lit up. I probably, hopefully, it was painter's tape or something that wouldn't run the paint job, but
yeah.
And they're pulling floats behind them, or So Pecos is about 600 miles from where you're at, so that's probably up around where the 70s. So, all right, but yeah, I'll tell you, I am so ready to retire.
Yeah.
Well, I've been working. Now, I had a couple of years off when I was in college, but I was still in college, so I consider that work. But if you add up all the time where I wasn't in school and not working, I doubt if it'd be since I was 16. Let's go 16 because 15 would skew the average there a little bit. Probably less than 2 years not working. I probably less than a year.
It's hard getting back in the grind after that.
Well, no, I'm talking about the entire time from the time I was 16 till now. If you add all of that time together,
yeah,
it might add up to a year or so. Because after I got out of college, I was substitute teaching in Manpower, and there would be times there would be no work between the two. I'd go a few days or a few weeks without work, and then sometimes I'd have more work than I'd be off for work. I couldn't take it because I was already working. It was feast or famine sometimes. I was working for Manpower when I started working for security. I was working as a mall Santa. Yeah, I played Santa Claus back many years ago.
Hmm.
Let's see, almost 40 years ago, not quite, about 38 years ago. And there was another guy that did Santa Claus, but I worked his days off for manpower. I'd go and cover for him on his days off. And I was in there playing Santa Claus, and a friend of my brother's worked for security there. And he'd come through, and I'd get talking to him, and he found out my younger brother and I, were brothers. And he asked me, about what I was doing. I told him, well, I do this, I do that. And I said, between the two, it's feast or famine. He says, well, look, we're always looking for security guards. And why don't you check it out? So just a little over 38 years ago, it was December 18th, 1986. I got hired as a security guard in Terre Haute, Indiana for Pinkerton. And I've been doing that kind of work ever since. Now,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Pinkerton, huh?
Yeah. Well, now Pinkerton was bought out by Securitas. So now I work for Securitas, but I've never changed anything. I mean, they bought the company out, but everything I had stayed the same. Just the uniform changed.
Well, Pinkerton has a history.
Oh yeah, Pinkerton was founded back in the 1850s by a guy named Alan Pinkerton. Hey, it's Retro. Retro, I know. Hey, Retro, man, long time.
Long time no talk.
Yeah, how you been?
It's nostalgia.
Hey, Rona.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
How you doing?
Doing
Do
pretty
you two
good,
know each
but-
other?
No.
just saying hello. No friendly hello.
Well, no, I understand that, but I didn't know if you guys knew each other.
No.
No, you're fine. You're fine, Larry. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, I know Mike through, I think it's LV, isn't it?
Yes.
LV.
Yeah,
Everyone
he knows
knows
LV. He knows LV. But that's why I didn't know if you two knew each other.
No.
No, I don't think I've seen him around or even met him, but that's cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hey, Larry, I'll be right back. My supper's right over there.
All right. But so like I said, it would just what was she talking about? But
Yeah. We were talking about Pinkerton.
oh yeah, well, like I said, so my time with Pinkerton transferred over to Securitas. It counted because I didn't change. They bought the company, so everything I had already stayed. So my time with the company already stayed. So my vacation time and all that stayed exactly the same. Now, when I was in Rochester, the contract I had was Pinkerton, but I wore a Securitas uniform
Okay.
because we were the only people that see Pinkerton. They kept the Pinkerton company going because there's certain contracts they wanted Pinkerton. So they wanted the Pinkerton name on certain contracts, even though they owned them.
Yeah, because they have a history.
Yeah. Like I said, they were founded in 1850 by a guy named Alan Pinkerton, who some claim, and it might be him, some claim that he was the founder of the Secret Service for the United States.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, he founded his Pinkerton private investigation service in Chicago, Illinois, back in the 1850s, before the Civil War. And had that going. So he had that for a long time. And then there's pictures with Alan Pinkerton with Abraham Lincoln and some others. That's why many believe he's actually the founder of the Secret Service.
Yes.
But yeah, and there are also the wanted posters, those kind of stuff. That was Pinkerton that did that. They sent out pictures and all that. And one of the reasons they were able to do so well back in those days was they didn't have to worry about state lines. So if
they were federal.
No, they were not federal. They were private, but they could go get them and bring them back.
Yeah.
The local law enforcement couldn't go beyond their jurisdiction. Okay.
They were
So if
federal.
you worked in Indiana and they went to Missouri, and let's say Missouri was wide open, wasn't a state yet, you couldn't go there and track them back in the 1850s and 60s. What happened was later on you got the U.S. Marshals. Once the Marshals came into effect, then they could do that. But the local, you'll see back in those days, if you robbed a bank in a town, after they got so far out of the town, the marshal and them lost their authority to keep chasing them. They could only chase them
Okay.
for so far. But that's why I said that's why secrets and bounty hunters were so important, because they didn't have to worry about jurisdiction. They didn't have to worry about that. If there's a wanted poster on a person and say $500 dead or alive, they could go get the guy, bring him back, and collect the money. It didn't matter where they got him. But the lawman himself couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It was just that's the way it was. And like I said, then they came up with the U.S. Marshals. And once the U.S. Marshals came about, then they had a much bigger, much farther reach. I'm not sure if they could go. I think they could go into the territories that weren't states. And so that really opened things up. Now, do you know who the most successful marshal ever was?
No.
Rachel? They claim that Lone Ranger is based on him.
I don't. The only Marshall I know is a musician called Marshall Crenshaw, so I don't know.
All right, no, it's a guy named Bass. The Bass Reeves, a black guy, believe it or not.
Ooh.
And they even had a series about him. I want to see Netflix, and you can watch it, but it's based on a true story.
Oh, speaking of Netflix, I know this is kind of irrelevant to Cowboys, but Larry, you remember the old '80s series He-Man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
So He-Man came out with a He-Man series on Netflix called He-Man Revelations. Now, I'm a He-Man fan. I grew up with, certain references to it because my mother introduced that to us. So I suckered down and decided I wanted a He-Man sword, but there were a lot of them on there for expensive prices, so I just bought the Revelations one. It was newer. I got the He-Man sword of Grayskull, so I took this out.
Okay.
By the power of Grayskull.
That's wild.
I know. And the fact that they sold it used and it still works. Oh.
Yeah.
Here's my oh, sorry, go ahead.
I gotta hop off of round 8, Larry. I gotta be somewhere.
That's okay. We appreciate you coming. Now,
Yeah.
I got a question for you, both of
Yeah.
you. You remember the series Beastmaster?
Kind of here and there.
Yeah.
It's vague in my mind.
He could talk to animals. He had a couple ferrets that he carried around with him.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I vaguely remember that, but I know who you're talking about.
Dan, how you doing, man? Welcome.
Dan the
I'm gonna hop
man.
off here.
Dan's here, yeah.
I'll catch
All right.
y'all later.
All right.
All right, Mike.
Thanks for coming up, Mike. You take care.
Nice to meet you.
And so yeah, you're talking about the retro stuff. Now, see, the stuff that I grew up with is before you were ever thought of.
Now you're talking about marshals and stuff from the Wild West days. I've got 9.
Hey, Lorraine.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Just saying hi to somebody.
Well, this is a 1950s toy cap gun. Well, what I don't think it's a cap gun; it's a prop gun. It's from the 1950s. It's a toy. It's all broken, but
that looks like a cap gun.
It would have been a cap gun if there was a place to put the caps. But this is a prop gun
We got Dan
versus
coming
cap
up.
gun. But cap
Dan, how
gun
you
versus
doing?
prop gun. So.
Oh, from the 50s.
I don't look so good. I look sick.
No, you just look washed out.
What's
well,
up,
anyway,
Dan? What's up, Dan?
We're here in Cebu, Philippines, in Ayala.
Nice.
You know that's where that area I want to land in is Cebu once I go.
Yeah.
We're
having a. We're enjoying a Starbucks. Retro, long time no see in the distance.
Long time no talk. How you doing?
That's right.
Oh, where's my
Uh,
bottle?
What's going on, fellas?
Oh,
Right
Hey, there's
Dan,
the
just said
proof.
hi, Dan.
You
Right
can see
now
in the
I'm looking-
background. That's the proof.
Yeah. Well, like I
Either
said,
way, I'm looking for my bottle opener. That's what I'm doing right now. Oh, I found it.
yeah, well, Dan knows Cebu's where I want to land when I first go over. Now, and he stayed in one of the apartment areas that I'd like to stay in,
What's
but
that?
I don't know if I'll be. Well, he did a video on it. It's got this wide open space that you can sit. Man, Minnie, hi, Minnie. Hey, how you doing?
Retro. Retro's there.
Hey,
But anyway,
I wanted to tell you
Retro's
guys.
like a time machine. Retro's like a walking, talking time machine.
Yeah.
By the
Like
way,
I
speaking
I
of
think
good
Dan knows which
times,
one place I'm talking about. He can walk to the coffee shop and the mall and which is something I would enjoy. I'd like to be able to walk more.
speaking
and
of good,
like I said, if you're going to be in a city, myself personally, I'd rather be able to walk to places that I want to go to. I don't really want to own a vehicle in a city as large as Cebu. Now, if I lived in Bye, which is where Dan
Nice.
was, then I would probably want a bike.
You okay, Dan?
Crystal saying hi
I'm
there.
having an issue here.
He's trying to get
Fighting with the chair.
resituated.
Fighting with a
He's trying to
chair.
get-
What?
There you go.
who's-
Now you look better, Dan. Now you
Dan,
don't look so
who-
washed out.
Dan, who won?
Between you
who
and the
won?
chair,
How's
who
that?
won?
That's better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
All
said
right.
you were fighting with. You said you were fighting with a chair. Who won?
Oh, you guys, I can't hear a thing. I'm gonna have to find my headphones.
All right, we'll be
No
here.
worries. But
I can't hear a
Larry,
thing. There's so much traffic out here already.
all right, Larry, my brother Darius got married recently.
Well, congratulations to your brother.
I went to Boston.
Boston, the Pacticad, Harvard Yard.
Yeah, excuse me.
I was in Boston not too long ago.
I was in Boston.
Boston.
I was in Boston half a year ago because I had to watch my brother get married, and boy, what a wedding! I went and stayed at Boston.
Boston, the home of Dunkin' Donuts.
I stayed in Boston hotel room. It was the Lakeside Inn or Lake Region. I think it's a Lakeside Inn. We got a view of the lake.
Yeah.
And I did a video on my channel from the hotel room right before we left. So
Well, that's cool. But I was in Boston twice in the last couple months.
why twice? What was the occasion?
Well, a friend of mine's wife and his son, they're from China. Well, the son's not, but the couple are from China. And the wife and the son was going to go back and visit family. Well, he had to work. So she went back, and then when he got his vacation, which was a couple of weeks later, I took him over so he could fly to China.
Nice.
and,
Couple of Boston trips.
Yeah, and spent the weekend. Now, the first trip, I just took her and her son over, dropped them off, and turned around and came back. So that was just a quick trip there and back. Because one of the people that went with me had something they had to do that the next afternoon. And
All right.
But
Well,
the second trip, I actually stayed about 3 days in Boston. We went to, which I've already been there, and I got videos of it up, so I didn't take any videos this trip. But I went to the Constitution Museum again, the Constitution, and a couple.
How'd you like the
Chinatown.
Constitution, Larry? How'd you like it?
I got a video of the Constitution I did a couple of years ago. Loved it.
I don't
I'm
know
also-
about. I didn't get to see the Constitution. What I got to see was a bunch of traffic
I saw a
and
bunch
my
of
mother
traffic.
yelling at it.
Did
And,
you toss a tea bag into the bay, Larry?
No, but I do want to go next time I go. If I go back in the spring or summer, they have the place where they had the Boston Tea Party, where they'll do a reenactment.
Sorry.
And I'd like to go back sometime where I can see the reenactment. And if I do that, I'll take a video of it.
You know what?
Oh,
I
that'd be
think-
nice.
I think this is the perfect opportunity to pour some Boston tea. You guys know my segment on this. You know, where's my mug?
Yeah, but like I said, though, I went to the
You're not going to
museum
show
and
us your Dunkin' Donuts dolly, are you, Retro?
I don't have a Dunkin' Donuts stall. I don't even know what you mean.
You remember back in the 70s or the 80s,
that's
they
before his
they
time. Come on.
introduced the Munchkins. They introduced Munchkins, and they
Yep.
came out with the Munchkin doll.
Yeah, now
That
I
was
know
like
what you're talking about.
yeah, I got one of them.
I was in the 70s, a little before. It was a little before
What?
the retro time, but not the 80s.
Yeah, a little bit before my time there, but
Yeah. But
yeah,
I was talking about the 50s earlier. One of my
before
favorite
the
TV
tea.
shows, there was a couple, but one of them was, you remember the TV show, Dan, Sky King?
Oh yeah, I
Sounds
remember it.
familiar, actually.
I like that
Sounds
show. I like that show a lot.
I did too. The reason why you may recognize the name Retro, a lot of small airports are named after Sky King.
Oh really? Oh,
Yeah, there's a lot of
I didn't
small.
know that.
Well,
Yeah.
in Terre Haute, they got a
Cheers.
small airport. They're
Cheers.
private airports, usually they're private ones. That has a airport named Sky
To your
King.
health, Retro.
And
To yours
got
as
the
well, my
actor-
friend.
The actor who played Sky King came in for the opening of it. And again, I don't know how many, but there's more than one, from my understanding.
Larry, let me ask you a question now. You said you want to when you land, you want to come into the Cebu area, right?
Yeah, when I first get there,
So
that's where I want to
when's
start
that-
out.
Oh, my receipt there. When's all that going to happen?
Well, it's going to be at least a couple of years because, like I said, my mother's still alive, and I want
Ah.
to save up enough money that once I get there, I have the money to come back if I need to. So at least minimum a year.
Okay.
So I'm saying a minimum a year from February because I'll be re-signing my lease in February.
Oh
And
no,
I'll do
thank
that.
you.
So it'll be at least a year from, it may be long, it may be 2 years from February. Hopefully no longer
Hey,
than
did you happen to catch the news about every man has a story passing away?
Yes, I did. I caught that news.
Yeah.
Every man repeats the story was in today.
Was he?
said,
What do you have to say? What do you have to say?
He just said hi, basically.
He didn't talk about it, huh?
Well, he a little bit, but not much.
Not much, huh?
I think he admitted that he had passed away. He said something about.
I think he's got to change his.
He changed it from. He said when I said every man has a story, he's changed it to every man had a story.
Oh no! Oh no!
Some dark.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Larry.
God, that's terrible.
Check the tree,
Yeah.
guys. This was given to
Hey,
me by
cool.
my neighbors for Christmas, along with the ornament.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's
And
nice.
Eminem.
Oh, you think that's nice? I even got a customized Christmas card here somewhere. It was customized perfectly for
Now-
my type of deal.
Retro, forgive me, but are you in New Hampshire?
I'm in New Hampshire. Yep.
How did you get down to Boston? Did you drive?
My mother drove, bless her heart and her tempered man.
Oh wow! So how many hours is that?
About maybe 3. I don't know.
That's
Oh,
bad.
that's not bad. I thought it's like 8 hours. You know.
No, New Hampshire.
I didn't keep track. I fell asleep in the car and then was shockingly woken up by my mother going, "Get off the fucking road!" And that was, oh, my
I'm gonna
mother
say-
hates traffic.
Well, when I drove to Boston, it was about 3.5 hours from where I live.
Okay.
From where? Colony,
Yeah.
upstate.
Colony, Waterville, yeah.
For a month,
Yeah, I sure miss that area.
For a month,
I don't miss the winters though.
For a month there, Dave, I thought you said Hanley, like Puff the Magic Dragon.
No. Dan,
Ah,
Dan, I hate your cup.
what? What?
He has a cup that says "Let it snow."
Oh yeah.
I hate. You know what? Talking about letting it snow. It started snowing yesterday while I was at work, right? Around
Yeah.
11 o'clock. 12
All
o'clock
right,
somewhere
well,
in there.
Larry,
It
Larry, I
didn't
hate
quit
to-
snowing till today around 11 o'clock.
Larry,
It's
I
still
hate
for
to
almost
interrupt
24
you,
hours.
but I hate
All
to
right, man.
interrupt
Take
you. I'm
care.
going because there's
Sure.
another panel I want to say Merry Christmas to before I do my own stuff.
Merry
Go ahead.
Christmas,
Merry
retro.
Christmas and Happy New
Happy
Year, Retro.
Nostalgmas.
Hap-
Happy.
Thanks for coming in.
See you next time.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
May the retro be with you. Stay retro. And,
Peace.
yeah, live long and prosper. And don't forget to please be kind to rewind. Bye, guys.
All right. But then,
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that, so strangely enough, I didn't know that Mark Thornton had passed away. And so I was looking around, watching all the video stuff where they were talking about it. And then I ran into the Facebook page by his brother Eric announcing that he's left this world. And so I went in to contact Jen, his wife, and say, "Hey, Jen, condolences, but where do we send money?" And then she says, "Well, send it to Mark's channel." And so I went over to Mark's channel to try and send money using the PayPal, and the link had already been broken. So I don't know what happened, but I noticed that a lot of people's PayPal link got broken in this latest upgrade. PayPal did something, and now you have to restore your link by verifying your identity or something like that. So I wasn't able to send as much as I wanted to help out. I wasn't able to. I was very disappointed, but it shocked me that Jen actually responded to the chat message. So
Yeah, like I said, I never really watched his. I think I've watched one or two of his videos, and that's it. But some of the other vloggers in Dumageddon were talking about it. There's a vlogger that goes back and forth between Kentucky and Dumageddon. Jay's something. He mentioned
there
it.
were actually people saying that no, that he didn't have a stroke. That's not true. I just saw him walking down the street, happy as can be. Oh no. Oh
Yeah,
my
but,
goodness. And then they had to retract everything, saying, "Oh no, that wasn't Mark. That must have been his 6'7" twin brother."
Yeah, but also a couple others. Like I said, I don't know. You've probably heard us talk about Mike's Philippines adventure or whatever. It's Mike and
Hey, there's more dirt coming out of Dumageddon,
yeah. Well, Gio's leaving.
There's a lot of dirt coming out about Gio and Maya.
Yeah, they've separated.
Isn't that amazes me? I just can't understand it.
They haven't been married that long.
Yeah, less than a
And,
year, I think. And
Yeah,
to me, I mean,
they've
for
been
what they
together
show on
longer than that, but
YouTube,
they've been
they
married
seem
less
like the
than a year.
perfect couple to me.
Yeah, but
Right.
yeah, he's talking about moving, leaving Dumageddon and going to. He's looking at Bohol.
Yeah.
I want to say Ilo,
Ilo.
and Davao.
I think. Oh, he
I
talked
think
about Cebu. He talked about Cebu also.
Yeah. But I think if he goes to Cebu, it's because he wants to travel more. But I know he really likes Bohol.
Right.
And he really likes Davao. But Cebu has the airport that will let him travel more if he wants. And he's also said he plans on going back to the States more than he has.
I think he has to go back to work. I'll be honest with you.
Well,
I'll be honest with you. YouTube, the views are crash and burning. The views are all over the place. And the ads that they're running, they're not high value ads. I mean, they don't pay a whole lot. So I think everybody's suffering. I really do.
that's one thing about me. I'm not counting on money from it at all.
Yeah.
I'm not even. I got to viewers, but I've never tried to monetize. Not done it. Not going to do it. But
well, I get $100 every couple of months, which helps out. Helps with the giveaways and the sponsorships.
Well,
so I need the money to offset that.
Well, like I said, once I retire, I might do it,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be as large as some of these guys are, because that's a full-time job.
Hey, pardon my joke, but you are as large as some of the guys are.
I'm larger than you.
Just keep feeding me the lines, Larry. Just keep feeding me the lines. I shall
All right,
not miss them.
I'll be the straight man. You be the funny man.
Anyway, yeah, so I was shocked about that, but it's just and that's the dangerous part about making relationships public on YouTube is that soon, if something like that ever happens, like another thing that I've been thinking about lately, is that what happens, like those guys, there are a lot of guys posting videos about them just being diagnosed with things like colon cancer, prostate cancer, brain cancer, anal cancer, all those different things, right?
Yeah.
And like when you start wasting away from your treatment of chemotherapy and the like, how do you hide that on YouTube when you've let everybody in on your story? How do you hide the fact that, and I guess those guys, they capitalize it. Well, I might as well make some money before my death. They start
yeah.
telling the whole story. They tell the whole story from the beginning to the end, and some of it is kind of graphic and not very pleasant.
Well,
But anyway,
I mentioned on one of the I want to say LV's live stream that I had a colonoscopy this week. I had it on Monday, and I had 6 polyps that were removed. They were
good for you.
They were like pinhead size. I haven't heard back yet or anything else. I've had it. This is like I want to say my 5th colonoscopy.
Yeah.
I've
Well, you
had
know what?
polyps before, but they were not bad.
They got them out of there, and here's the whole thing. It takes 20 or 30 years. It probably takes a long time. I retract that. I don't know how long it takes for polyps to turn into cancer. Sometimes they never do. Quite frankly, from the things I read, they sometimes they never do. But you never want to take that chance. You have to get them out of there, and then you have to put them under a microscope to see what kind they are.
Oh yeah, that's what they got to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this or not, but you can do that without anesthesia. You can have the procedure without anesthesia. And
what?
That's what I did. Oh yeah, I had the procedure. I had no anesthesia. I watched the whole procedure.
I would do the la sleep, the twilight sleep. I wouldn't do a general.
I've done that before.
I would do the crazy sleep, where the kind you get at the dentist. Give me a little bit more. Give me a little bit more gas to breathe, Doc.
Well, like I said, this is the first time I ever did it without anesthesia.
Hey, congratulations! Really, I'm proud of you.
But
aren't you happy that you did it?
Oh yeah, like I said,
yeah.
I one other time I had 3 polyps.
Yeah,
and they were benign. Now this one
Good.
I'm waiting to find out because it's not even been a week yet. And I got to see my doctor on Monday, so hopefully he'll have the information. But they said it could be 2 to 3 weeks.
Right.
They normally say a week or 2, but because of the holidays, it could be a little longer. But they may know by Monday. I'll find out. But,
I have to do I have to do one. I'm due for my next colonoscopy.
Well, it's been
you know
7
that
years.
I found out something by talking to a few Filipinas about this. They're terrified of that, and there's no reason to be.
No, the worst thing about the colonoscopy is the prep.
Yeah.
You can't eat anything solid for 2 days. You can have juices, but you can't have any dairy products, which means no milk, no ice cream, no pudding, nothing like that.
I don't think they want you to. I don't think they want you to eat red Jello either.
You can't have anything red.
Yeah, you can't have anything red.
No red Jello, no tomatoes, nothing red.
Yeah.
Now, now you can have broth. You can have chicken broth and stuff like that. The first day, I had green Jello. the lime jello, because you can't
Yeah.
have red, you can't have purple, so you can't have grapes. You can't. So the second day I didn't eat anything. All I had was that you could drink clear pop. So I was drinking Sprite because it's clear and it has sugar, which gives you some energy. Because I don't have sugar in my house. There's none in my house. I don't use sugar. So I do have milk, but I couldn't. I drink the milk up before that Saturday. Because it was Saturday, Sunday fasting, and then Monday was the test. So the milk was gone, but like I said, I had cheese. I couldn't eat cheese. I mean, you can't. It's a dairy product. It's like, man, and I love cheese. But
We're for those that are curious how it goes in the Philippines, that part, all you need to do is search around. We found a great gastroenterologist,
yeah,
and he just does a fantastic job.
Well-
62-year-old doctor, and he works out of Ormoc Doctors Hospital, and I'm surprised at how many YouTube expats he actually is the doctor for. It's very amazing to me.
I'm talking about
all the big
Leche.
all the
Talking
big
about
time
Leche.
all the big timers.
Yeah. Talking
They'll
about
use-
Leche. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
In Leyte, do they have an airport near either Ormont or Tacloban? Is there an airport that gets a flight out of Cebu? You can fly directly to it.
Yeah,
Leyte.
you can. It's Tacloban,
Okay, the other side of the island. All right.
the other side of the island. Yeah. So that's about a 2 or 3 hour. How many hours is it from Tacloban to Ormoc? 2 hours from Tacloban to Ormoc, if you're going to go that way. So there you have it. Ormoc, yeah. An hour, really, because you have to go through those hills. Yeah, some people don't find that drive from Tacloban into Bye Bye City or Ormoc. They don't find that to be very pleasant because it's windy, hilly road.
Oh, well, I'm thinking of, like I said, hey, Danny, how you doing, man? He just said,
Danny's
what's up,
in the
man?
house.
Yeah, Danny's in the house. The reason why
Hey,
I was asking,
I was going to say,
go ahead.
they're working on an airport in Ormoc right now. They're building an airport in Ormoc.
Okay. Well, the reason why I'm asking is like I've told you and everybody else pretty much, I want to start off in Cebu. But let's say I decide it's too large. So, pal, how you doing? So, pal Lee's here. Been a long time.
Show Pao Lee is in the house. I love Show Pao Lee.
Yeah. But anyway, like I said, though, if
Danny
Cebu
ain't too
doesn't work
bad
out,
either.
if Cebu's too large for me,
Yeah.
well, you always got Dumaguete, but I wanted some other places that may have airports near them that I can, because I got a friend that wants to visit.
Yeah.
Once I move over there, and like I said, we're just good friends. We've known each other, so everybody knows it's just a friend. It's female. That's why I'm saying going through this. I've known her for over 35 years. All right, we're nothing but friends. We go back to college. She used to date somebody I knew. We became friends and stayed friends. But anyway, she said something about visiting, but she gets motion sickness. So I'm afraid if she takes the boat, so plus I want a bigger city. Not as big as Cebu. It may not be as big as Cebu, but I want something that's big enough that's got a good hospital, which Ormoc and Tacloban does. So does Iloilo. So does Boho, and so does Davao. So those are places I'll think about. But I want my options. Like I said, when I first get there, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to stay in Cebu probably 2 to 3 months before I even think about going somewhere, unless it's Dumaguete, because it's just a boat ride over. Because I'm not afraid of the boat. I'm not afraid of getting motion sickness on the ship.
I wouldn't think you're afraid of a boat.
Dude, been on too many of them. But anyway.
Hey, by the way, Minnie and I, we went over to To Go Travel to see if we could get the stateroom so we could take the big ship Lollipop over to Manila so we can get a video out of it. But the problem with it is the stateroom is all booked up until the 14th of January. And so we'd have to wait till the 14th in order to get on there. And Minnie, she's none too happy sailing on a ship, you know, because she remembers as a kid, she remembers growing up as a kid here, and let's just say that safety at sea was an issue.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And so pal,
Yeah.
no, I'm not in Cebu. I'm still in New York State. Dan and Minnie are in Cebu right now, but I'm just saying once I do move to the Philippines, Cebu's where I want to go. I want to go there, set up a base, decide if I like it. And if I do, that's where I'll stay. But if I don't, I want to be able to travel from there. And if it's close enough, I'll just take the boat. Like I said, I spent 6 years in the Navy, 5 years on ships. I've been to sea a few times. So I'm not, you know, the only thing is if the weather's rough, those ferries would be a little iffy. I'd probably put it off. If you got me on a ship in the rougher weather, all right, we can handle that. You know, I've been in 20-foot swells on a ship. I would not want to be in a 20-foot swell on a ferry. Sorry, no. I'm not that.
Hey, so let me ask you a question. So they have, if we go that 22-hour trip from Cebu to Manila,
Get a stateroom.
they say that they only have business class available, but business class is just a glorified cabin, you know. So it's a private cabin. It has a TV set in there, all that, but it has bunk beds in it. It doesn't have a single queen size or double bed. So that's kind of, I don't think that would make as good of a video as if we were in the stateroom, you know.
Like I said, if you can get a stateroom, I'm gonna tell you the truth. If the water's not that rough, I've never slept better in my life than out at sea. Depending on how rough the water and how big the ship. But,
well, you know, it's rainy season, so they have a low pressure system will come out of nowhere, and
well, you might want to fly then instead of take the.
I mean, quite honestly, don't come knocking if this boat's rocking.
That's right. But the thing is, when the ship is a gentle rock, it just rocks you, to me, especially if you're midship. And midship's just like it sounds. You're in the middle of the ship.
Right.
It just rocks you right to sleep. And it's such a smooth ride for me. I slept great out at sea when the weather wasn't rough.
Just rocks you to sleep like a baby, eh?
Oh yeah. Sapal wants to know where you're at in Cebu right now, Dan.
Ayala at Starbucks on the terraces. Where's the best show pow? Show pow Lee. What's the best show pow near me? Show pow Lee.
Now, Sapal, are you in Cebu? I know she's in the Philippines. I just don't know if she's in Cebu.
Yeah, honestly, I can't remember where she's from. I should know this.
And she goes, "Oh, Ayala." So she knows where you're at. But I'm with you. You would think I'd remember, but no. Like I said, yeah, she's in Cebu. She is in Cebu.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought she lived in Florida.
But she lives in Cebu now.
What? Show pow Lee, you're here in Cebu?
Yeah.
What?
So, pal, when did you move back to the Philippines? It's been a year or two, hasn't it?
What? She's in the Philippines?
She's been here since April.
Well, congratulations. Are you happy?
She's got 3 big smiley faces with big toothy grins. So I'm going to say she's happy. Yeah, her latest video, she put up 2 videos just a couple days ago of, it was the mothers dancing, then it was the kids play. And I just watched both of those today. And the mothers dancing was a shorter one. Not a short, but it was a shorter video. The kids' play was about 8 minutes long.
I'll
So
go
it
in there. I'll
wasn't very
check it
long.
out.
Yeah, but yeah, I enjoyed it. Now I don't know which one was Chopal because I don't know what Chopal looks like in real life, so I can't tell you. But I'm sure she was one of the mothers dancing. She might not have been because she might have been the one taking the videos. But I think her
Oh,
son
I'd
was.
recognize her if I saw her.
Well, it's her son's picture in the that she uses for her avatar.
Her sticker, her thumbnail.
Well, like I said, beside her name, that's her son's picture. And she goes, "I was not in the video. I'm shy." Okay, that's fine, Chopal.
Well, but Chopal Lee, how did you end up back in the Philippines?
I think her husband retired.
Or should I watch the video? Uh-oh. I'm feeling damp. I'm feeling sprinkles.
Yeah, I'll trade you. I had snow.
Oh, I think there's about a 50% chance of rain here today. It's very humid. Man, Minnie and I walked over here from the hotel. We're about 15 minutes away. We're low budget. I told her, I said, if we go to a low budget hotel in Mabolo, then I'll take her over to the new Star Hotel for 1 or 2 nights. And she said, oh yeah, okay. So we ended up getting the room is a low budget room, 1,200 pesos a night, but it's not too bad. And it came with a free breakfast. The breakfast ain't too bad either. Filipino
That's good.
breakfast, but I like Filipino food. So,
I did a video on eating a typical Filipino breakfast.
oh yeah, I think so. I think I saw it. Yeah.
And I got another video I'll be putting out. But I got this new device. It's a little meat cutter. It's kind of you go like this. I mean, it's not. And I cut up some spam today.
There's so many expats living here now. I'm telling you, this whole place. I don't think I've seen one Filipino pass me by yet who wasn't with a foreigner. Of course, this is Starbucks, you know. They're going to be hanging out at Starbucks, at Bo's, at Figaro's, you know, and a few other places.
Now,
So that's what Ayala's all about.
Now, so Powell says no information about us moving here, but the plan is moving here for good. But it didn't work out for my Isawa.
What? Okay.
He goes, "What the heck?
All right.
I just said." Well, so Powell, I'm sorry to hear it didn't work out for your Isawa.
But you know, I'm happy you're here. You know, I mean, I don't know. Life is a struggle, but I'm convinced, you know, that the Philippines is growing so fast. You know, it's going to be an economic powerhouse. There's more money to be made here than way more money that can be made here than in the USA, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I get tempted every single day I see an opportunity. It just blows me away. And the roadmap has already been laid out for you, because all you have to do is follow roadmaps that have been in place in the United States for years for business success, and boom, you know, you plug it in here in the Philippines, and it's amazing what happens. It truly is.
I got to ask Sapal another question. Now, Sapal, being he already went back, does that mean you're going to go back, or is he going to go back and forth? Are you staying permanently in Cebu, or are you going to go back again? Are you going to go back and forth, or is he going to go back and forth? If it's too, if you don't think it's my need to know, don't answer. I'm just wondering. But like I said, for me, I do want to go to want to go to the Philippines. And Danny, do I sound better now? I turned the mic up a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's clear as a bell.
All right.
You have a nice mic there, though.
Yeah. Well, I had it down a little bit because I had my fan blowing, And if my fan's blowing, if I have the mic up, it picks that noise up. So I turn it down. So Pal's going back in December. All right. The end of this month. So, hey. So, Pal, I
Joe?
hope you have a safe trip back to the States. Sorry it didn't work out. I know for me, for an expat, that's something we have to take in consideration. Will it work out for us? I know I like the Filipino people. I've worked with many of them, served with them. I enjoyed the Philippines when I was there, but that was many years ago. Am I going to be able to handle the heat and humidity? Am I going to be able to handle some of the? I happen to be considered a very patient person, unless I'm driving.
Oh well, that's going to serve you well here.
Well, that's what I've been told. I'm very patient by more than one person. And so
You need to be a very patient person when you're here.
And that's what I've heard. So, like I said, I should have the patience, But am I going to
Hey,
be?
for me, having that type A personality, it sure has been a challenge calming down, But I would say that after arriving in the Philippines, I would say that 50% of the stress that I was feeling while living in the United States, it just went away almost overnight. And that certainly has an effect on your personality profile, I must say.
Well, I believe that. I mean, like I said, I happen to be. I'm not worried about the patience part of it. I am worried about not being able to find what I want.
What happened to your shoe? Uh-oh. Mammy needs a new pair of shoes.
Well, you're at the
Baby
right
needs
place.
a new pair of shoes.
Like I said, you're at the right place. You're at the mall.
The Cebu, how should I say this? The Cebu pollution is deteriorating her shoes.
Okay, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's melted the rubber. It's melting the rubber on her Skechers.
I like
It's too
Skechers.
it's too hot. It's too hot inside the house. That's what the problem is. And it damages the shoes,
Yeah.
You want to hear a story? You want to hear a story about shoes that's kind of funny?
Go right ahead.
Shopal Lee, she's going to know how true this is, right? So I take my best pair, my best pair of Nikes, they cost me like $175, right? And the glue started to come loose on the soles. So all I wanted to do was take the shoes in and have them re-glue the sole so that it stays in place and I could wear these shoes for another couple of years.
Yeah.
But you know what ended up happening? The woman there took it upon herself to sew them, to sew the shoes, the sole back on by running a bead all the way around. Shopal, she knows this happens a lot here, right? And then I get them back and I see that she sewed them. And I was like, what the hell? What the hell? She just ruined a $175 pair of shoes. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I said, I only asked you to glue them. That's all I wanted, not sewing. And she says, well, you don't have to thank me. That's what she says to me. No, it's not necessary to thank me. I'm not charging you any extra money,
Yeah.
That's the Philippines, brother. That is the Philippines right there in a nutshell.
She thought she was doing something good.
Huh?
I said she thought she was doing something good.
Yeah, and so what am I going to do, right? What am I going to do? It's already done. And she thought she was helping me out. And quite frankly, even though it ruined the value of the shoes, it turned out that it is better to have them sewn around the bead, if you're not worried about the value of your shoes going down to nothing,
I'm going to put it to you this way. They weren't worth the 175 anymore because you wore them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so it went down a little more.
So then you really got, when something like that happens, you got to turn it into lemonade. So I just started wearing them every day. I just started to make sure that I got my mileage out of them,
Well, Snowplow says now that will last forever.
Now they'll last forever. Exactly. Exactly. Instead of a few months or a year, I'll get forever out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I
now,
started wondering, how come Nike doesn't do this?
because they don't want you to get forever out of them. They want you to have to buy a new pair.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah. But see,
Hey,
now I
I
just wear
think
water shoes most of the time. I'll wear water shoes most of the time in the Philippines. Now that I
so.
don't do during the summer.
So yeah, I'm sorry about the show pal. Show pal, I'm sorry things didn't work out,
Yeah.
but in the long run, they probably will work out. So that's another way of looking at it.
She says my Asawa said the Philippines is good for vacation, but not for good.
You know something? A few people that I know have said that, and they're making a mistake. I'm telling you.
Well, like I said,
Things are changing. Show pal, things are changing so fast here. It's becoming, it's becoming so westernized that it may even happen if I live to in my mid 70s. I'll probably see the whole thing happen right in front of our very eyes.
well, that's because you're younger than me. In my mid 70s, it won't have all happened yet.
I mean, Larry, I like your plan, and the reason why is once you get here, you're going to see how fast things are changing. Well, you won't realize it right away, but the infrastructure improvements that are going on in the Philippines right now, I've never seen anything like it. I would like to know where they're getting all the money in order to do this. They're dropping wires down into the ground. They're
That's
putting
great.
curbs in, street lights. They're putting seawalls in. They're building up every island so that it has a bay walk. I've never seen this kind of investment in infrastructure that is going on the countries that I visit, then that are going on right here, right now in the Philippines.
Yeah. And Chopal agrees with you. She says, yes, I can even see it.
Yep, beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm glad. I'm so happy. So happy she agrees with me because you know what? I really respect her opinion. I always have.
But,
I
yeah,
mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Sometimes it takes me a while to admit it, but
yeah, I'm a little stubborn myself sometimes.
but I do want to bring this up again, right? And that is that it's also getting more expensive to live here. And so I also worry about foreigners driving up the price of goods and services. I worry about that a lot. Of
Well,
course,
that's
that sounds weird coming from a foreigner, but hey, I got here not first, but I was here right in the middle, of the Western rush.
yeah. But the nice thing is, though, Dan, you got your house paid for.
Well, yeah, that is true. That's a big equalizer.
That lowers your cost. Now, for
It
me,
really does. It guarantees our future, really.
I'm going to be an apartment dweller or a condo dweller, probably.
Hey, but you know what? You could still find, Larry, I'm not kidding you. Not far from here, like in areas like Lahug, you could
Yeah.
still find full service hotel rooms that you could rent on a monthly basis for less than $350 and $400 a month. And
That's
so,
what I'm
although
looking at.
most Filipinos couldn't afford it, you certainly could afford it,
Oh, yeah, I'll be able to afford that. Like I
Yeah.
said,
I
I'll be
mean,
able to afford that.
what better life can you have than someone coming in and changing the linens and cleaning your apartment and resupplying your coffee pot, doing all those things for $350 or $400 per month? It's amazing.
Well, I agree with you. Like I said, you probably know where I'm talking about, where I want to try to land at, because it's one of the places you stayed at. It's close enough to walk to a mall, close enough to walk to McDonald's or Jollibee's, or close enough to walk to a coffee shop. That's what I want.
Oh, Lahug is
Yeah,
so nice.
yeah.
You know why
Well,
I like Lahug a lot? It's because everything is in with it's within walking distance, 10 or 15 minutes. I don't mind getting on a Jeep and doing this and doing that. But let's face it, I'm not getting any younger and I'm not getting any thinner. You know, I got to keep my,
Girly
you know,
figure.
my, yeah, exactly. And so what? I'm going to complain. I may complain about having to take a 10 or 15-minute walk, but hey, you know, it's good for you, you know? And so
Well,
you
see,
could walk to Ayala, IT Park, you could walk to the Waterfront Hotel, you could walk wherever you want to go is within 15-minute walk
that's what I
from La
want.
Hougue, right there where we were staying at the MIT residences or the 18 suites. I mean, those
Well,
places, they're absolutely amazing. And
well, the
believe
place,
me,
yeah.
they'll
Well,
cut
the
it.
place,
They'll cut a deal for you for a monthly rate.
yeah, well, like I said, when I was living in Terre Haute, the place I lived at in Terre Haute, I was like 4 blocks from a Dairy Queen, 4 blocks from a gas station. I was a block from a laundromat, 3.5 blocks to a grocery store, and about 4 blocks to a bar. So if I really
Beautiful.
wanted to, yeah,
You're my
I
kind of
mean,
guy.
I could walk anywhere I wanted. You know, and then I had my car. I still had a
Oh,
car.
I got it. Hey, I already have a story to share with you about our trip. So we get off that. We had gotten the cabin on the roadway, straight door to door service. I'm not kidding you. Straight from Bye Bye City over to Cebu Pier 3. Hey, Larry, we're getting a fast ferry in Bye Bye by the end of the year. We're getting a Shakey's Pizza for crying out loud.
And Bye Bye
Shakey's
itself?
Pizza. Yeah, founded in Sacramento,
Well, no.
California, our home.
You said you're getting a fast ferry and Bye Bye itself?
Yeah, we're getting I think it's called the Sea Cat,
Okay, Sea Cat. Yeah.
and it's going to be door to door service. It's going to take so much time off of our trips from Bye Bye City to Cebu. We're
Okay, that's what I was going to
so
ask you.
happy.
Well, yeah,
Everybody is thrilled about it that I've talked to.
yeah. Well, like I said, Bye Bye wouldn't be bad if they had a good hospital. I said if Bye Bye had a
It's
good hospital, it'd be a good place.
Well, you have to go to Ormoc for the
That's
hospital,
what I
which is
said.
about a 45-minute drive away.
So I might as well just live in Ormoc. Is what I'm saying. I want to live
Yes,
closer.
I wouldn't have
And
any problem whatsoever. Ormoc, the second largest city in Leyte, next to Tacloban, I believe.
yeah, like I said, either one of those two cities, both of them are supposed to have uh, good hospitals. So
But you
that's
know,
what
Bye Bye City is turning into an expat haven. I am not kidding you. It's looking like Dumaguete. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Dumaguete Jr., huh?
Yeah, it's really something the way it's grown so fast.
Yeah. Merry
Larry,
Christmas, fella.
we have three Dunkin' Donuts in Bye Bye already.
Don't be surprised if sooner or later your hospital improves too.
I think it will, but it's lacking equipment right now. It's brand new, but it lacks equipment. So if we need like an MRI done or a CT scan, we got to go to Ormoc Doctors Hospital, or there's one called OSPA, and they're great places. We've been to both, and we're happy because you know the doctors they generally will practice at both hospitals. So if they know that equipment is better over at OSPA for whatever you need, they'll go to OSPA. If they think they have better equipment over at Doctors Hospital Ormo, they'll go there. And so I think it's fantastic. You know what I've learned, Larry? I should do a video on this. I have learned, and man, Minnie and I have learned to navigate the medical system here. And once we figured out how everything worked, it was absolutely amazing. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's
You know,
useful information. It really is for us, for
I
somebody
mean, you
wanting to
definitely,
know.
whatever you need done, you can have it done here. You just have to know, you just have to figure out the Philippine system. And of course, you have to have money. You know, that's the other thing.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, I have what you've shown as the comfort zone. I have that plus. Okay. Now it's
I
not as
want to
much
give
as
you, I would like to share one example uh, for you. This might be useful for others also. And so I haven't talked a lot about it. Man, Minnie, I hope she doesn't get mad for me mentioning it. but she had surgery in in one of the local hospitals to remove a ganglion cyst. I mean,
Okay.
this thing grew so fast. It was growing so fast that it just it scared me a little bit, right? Now, ganglion cyst is 99.9% of the time it's non-cancerous cyst, right? It's not a
Yeah.
cancerous tumor. So, but it's difficult to remove because it's like a spider, you know, it attaches itself to everything. And so the doctor gets in there to remove it, and he's cutting away, you know, trying to get that thing out of there. It's alive! Ah, it's alive! But
Yeah.
but he did an excellent job. The surgery went well. She's all sewn up, healing right now. And I'm telling you, like I said, you can get anything done. You have to ask a lot of questions, and you
Yeah.
will find the best neurosurgeons, uh, the best doctor, gastroenterologist, the best internist, the best. You will find them here in the Philippines. But
Well,
the key is do not keep your mouth shut. You ask questions
yeah. And I
and
got two things. I
always
got,
ask,
okay. I
how
want to talk
much
to
will it cost?
Sopal for just a moment. Sopal,
Yeah.
I understand. If I was married to a Filipina, I wouldn't want to probably live in a condo either. I would probably want to rent a house or something. But just being me, myself alone, I think a condo is the best way for me to go because I hate cleaning. And the apartment he's talking about, they will clean the place for me, included in the cost.
Yes.
Uh, so yeah, they got a little more control, but I don't mind that. I live in an apartment now. They got control here too on certain things. I've been an apartment dweller all my adult life. So it's something I'm used to. Now, I've had more freedom at some places than others. The ones that try to restrict me too much, I move. I mean, if I want somebody to come here and stay with me tonight, I can go out, pick up a girl, and bring her home. They're not going to
Hey
say it.
now.
I'm just saying
Hey
I could.
now.
Yeah, let's be honest about it. I don't have the ability, but if I did, I could.
You will in the Philippines, my friend.
But I'm just saying right now. But now, if I wanted her to move in, I would probably have to let them know. But it's a
Don't
one
get me
bedroom,
started.
so they wouldn't charge me anymore. I don't believe they couldn't anyway until the new contract, which is in March. I'll sign it in February, but it starts in March. But so, like I said, they do have some control. I like the new owners of this outfit. They're doing improvements, which I like. If I was to move in right now to a 1 bedroom apartment, so it'd be different than this one. It would cost me a lot more for one reason. They have improved the apartments. They've gone in, remodeled them. They look much better. One of these days, maybe I'll try to get a video of what the newer one looks like. They put in more lights. The floor's been changed. So they've done some improvement. So if I wanted to move into one of the newer apartments, I'd have to pay almost 1.5 times or more than what I'm paying right now. I want to save money. I can afford to do that. Don't get me wrong, I could, but that would cut into my ability to save money, and that would mean I would have to have more time before I can move. Most of you know, not all of you know, I'm 71 years old.
You know
Tired of
something
working.
though, I had a guy uh I had a guy send me a message through chat messenger, you know, and he was saying he was giving me the what force on his life situation. He was in a real terrible spot, right?
Yeah,
He uh probably if I mentioned who it was, you guys probably would recognize the name because he is fairly popular on one of the platforms. But I'll tell you that the way he was presenting it, I got to tell you, if all was true what he said, and he had this $1,000 to work with every month, well, it's for me, it's an easy decision. You know, you want to live where you can afford to live, and where I mean, quite frankly, where it's the cheapest. You can get the most out of your money. You get the most bang for your buck. and that isn't in most places of the United States.
No.
And so it was pretty easy for me to tell him, hey, you're one of those guys that's in that situation that moving here cannot harm you in any way. It probably won't improve your life much, but it ain't gonna hurt you. And so, and the chances are that it may actually improve your life, and so it weighs a little bit more on that side than the other. And so
Well,
I said, you should consider moving to the Philippines.
oh,
But that does not mean there are other places in the United States as well where you can live on $1,000 per month.
I could go back to my hometown and live on my Social Security.
I'm sure. I'm
Oh,
sure.
I could.
As a matter of fact, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Mammy and I have talked about this. If we moved back to the States, we would have to look at Indiana as a place.
Yeah, there's a couple different places you can live
Yeah.
and be comfortable on what you have coming in. You have more than I do, but my hometown, you can live in my hometown on less than what I got. All right, on less than what I make, you can live in my hometown. Now, being a veteran, they got a VA there.
Oh, Brent is still here. The beekeeper, he's still here, by the way, in Bye Bye City
Okay.
from Indiana.
Yeah, he was a beekeeper in Indiana, moved his stuff over here. His
Yeah.
wife went back to work some more. Now, she over there finally, or?
No, we saw him. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I saw him walking through the market. So that's how the Palinki. So that's how I know he's still here.
Yeah. I haven't watched any of his videos for quite some time because it's about stuff I'm not that interested in. I have too many people to try to follow something I'm not interested in. There's
Right.
there's
I don't think he's posting. I don't think he's posting videos any longer.
Yeah. Well, I love following your house build. When you were building your house and posting the videos, I love that. I love watching house builds. And
Yeah.
there's a couple guys building places right now. I'm not going to follow their channels because they're not putting up anything but the house build that I'm seeing. So what are they? I'm not sure if I'm going to, and they're in areas I'm not really interested in living. All right, they're out in the
Oh, but
college.
hey, I have something exciting. We have friends, Mike and Cora at Buena Vista Dreaming.
Yeah,
They
hey,
live
Joe.
in Vallejo, California, and
Yeah, hey, Joe.
they're going to be coming here and they're going to be building a house. And he has some cool design features, and he wants to cast like Texas Filipino. That'll be an exciting video to do. And so, of course, if it comes to pass, which I think it will, then I'll be, of course, I'm going to be the consultant on the project.
Well,
I'm
let me
gonna
know
appoint
if-
myself consultant on the project.
Okay, well, let me know because, like I said, I enjoy watching.
I will.
I have not. I don't know why I enjoy it. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I neither do I, but I love it. Hey, you know something else? Texas Filipino, what's he building? He's building the apartments, income producing property, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's how you create an income stream in the Philippines, right there.
But yeah, like I said, now there's one guy I follow, and I followed him before. I've still followed him. I followed him. It's on my other channel, I believe. No, I think it's on this one. But this is his second house build he's doing. His first house build, him and his wife ended up getting divorced.
What?
Oh yeah, they've been married for years, have a kid. His oldest kid with her is late teen. Hell, he might even be 20 by now, but back then he was high school, I think. And like I said, it's his and her. I mean, it's actually his kid. He didn't marry a single mother. They got married, and neither one had kids, and they had a kid together. And they were married for years, and went back to her
Wow,
province.
I hate hearing that. I really do. I hate it.
Well, he met another woman, and another.
I mean, honestly, that's what upset me about, every Mark Thornton's quick exit, is the fact that he does have a young
child.
wife and also a newborn baby, and that just
Yeah.
breaks my heart.
Oh yeah, but anyway, he's remarried. He's married to another Filipina. he didn't know it when he started getting to know this girl, but she's on the same island as his ex.
Ah,
And they're building a house, and they put up a Kubo house first, which they stay in but he's still working. All right, he works for the federal state parks, federal parks. He works at so he works so many months out of the year, then he's off for a while. Right now they're back in the Philippines, and the house is done enough that they can live in it, but they don't have the ceiling in. They got the roof up, but not the ceiling necessarily. They don't have it painted. They don't have but the concrete's finished where it's smooth. I think the flooring is down. The towel on the flooring's down, but they don't have the walls completely done. But it's they're putting up a fence. They're doing it slowly. Now she, like I said, she goes back and they live in the States, and they go back and forth together. So it's not like she's staying there. They're married. She stays with him in the States. Her son goes with him. Now she was a single mother, and and his son from his first marriage just come and stayed with him, and he was there when they got married. He was a witness to their marriage, so he gets along quite well with his son from the first marriage. They still get along quite well. But it's me, Joan. Jonah? How you doing? Shane, how you doing? But like I said, I've enjoyed watching his. He sometimes will do videos of the park he lives at. Works at, not lives at, but works at, and do the trails and stuff. But
well, bottom line though, if you're single, and you're free, I would just do a service apartment, and
that's what I'm going to do.
call it a day.
Like I said, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Like I said, that doesn't mean that's where I'm going to stay.
I wouldn't worry about any of that other stuff. No.
Denny says he was shocked at Mark's passing. He said Mark interviewed him on his channel back in 2021.
Wow. Yeah, well, he'll be missed. I don't think there's any, but you know what? I'm gonna say one more thing about that. The last thing probably that I say, and then I was surprised that Old Dog New Tricks didn't do a video. So I'm assuming they had some kind of falling out. I'm not sure it's what happened, but I haven't seen a video unless it's up today about that. About his demise, but I haven't seen it, and so I'm kind of shocked by that.
I don't follow Old Dog, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember Bud Brown?
Yeah, he's coming back to the Philippines.
Yeah, he's coming back. Now, he said for maybe a month, and Gloria said 2.
I know, I saw that. I was laughing my ass off. I really was.
You see the look she shot him when he kept trying to say, maybe up to a month.
They're like the cutest couple ever.
Oh yeah. Well, they've been married over 50 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that. They've been married for over 50
I mean,
years.
Bud Brown is like the most sincere guy on YouTube.
Yeah. But so they're going back to Dumagetti. She misses seeing her friends.
You watch. They're never going to go back to the States. I'm telling you.
Not if Gloria has her way.
And he's got his residency card. He doesn't have to go back.
No, they don't, because he's got, like I said, they can go back and forth as much as they want. And
I wouldn't come over here and just spend 1 month. Heck no.
Oh,
you got to get your money's worth out of it.
Like I said, she shot him such a dirty look when he said 1 month, and she just said 2. That was hilarious. I don't follow Bud that much, but I saw that video. And
I was cracking up.
I quit following Bud when he moved back to California. When he was in Dumagetti, he was one of the people I followed. I really liked Bud Brown in the Philippines. But then he moved back to California, and it just, I watched it a little bit, but I just wasn't that interested in it. And so.
I wonder if they have their tickets already. If they don't, They'll probably
think
be
that-
here a lot sooner than they planned. I'll betcha.
I'm not sure. I know they were waiting on her to get the health clearance to travel. She had some stuff done, and so they're waiting for the doctor to say you're good to travel. And when she's good to travel, I forget what they said. They're going to go at first for about a week or so. Then they're going to do spaghetti. And I'm not sure if it was Manila or Cebu, but they were going to go somewhere else for a little bit, like a week or two, and then go to Cebu, Dumaguete. And I'm with you. If Gloria has her way, they ain't leaving.
Hey, you know something? Speaking of you, folks that have been around a long time on YouTube, like Bud Brown and his wife, we're going to be prowling around here at Ayala, and we're going to be looking for YouTube superstars. Now, so far, we have run into Mike, and but not his wife Janet, and we've also run into. But we saw a video, and I thought regular guy was hanging out here on the terraces, either at Figaro's or Bo's Coffee Shop or somewhere around there. So we're going to be hunting them down. We're going to be trolling them.
Yeah, Mike had to go to Cebu for something. Do you know
Yeah.
who John and Maris are?
No, I don't think so.
Turquoise. I want to say Turquoise Sunrise. They're a married couple. They have 2 kids. The daughter's about 11. The son's around 4 or 5, about 5, somewhere around there. Hell, I've been following them for years. They live in Valencia. And,
Oh, they do. Mhm.
Yeah, they live in Marpa's apartments. If you know where that's at.
Yeah, I think so.
All right,
I
that's
believe
where they
so.
live.
Hey, Lair, I got to get out of here. The mall's open now, so.
All right, well then I'm probably going to shut this one down. I've been going on for over 2 hours. So,
Everybody, we'll see you next time.
take care, Dan. Have a good one. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. It's been over 2 hours, and I'm glad you all came. I think I'm going to go ahead and shut this down and do a couple things. Probably go to Elvie's and see how she's doing, and probably just have it on in the background. So, pal, it was so good to see you. I'm sorry that it didn't work out where you can stay in the Philippines for good. I hope when I do finally make it to Cebu that you'll be over there sometime while I'm there so we can meet up. That would be great. I'd like to meet up with some other people that happen to live in that area. Like I said, I'm going to be on a much more strict budget than I am right now, because right now, I got what my budget will be for there, plus you can double that with what else I got coming in. So I'm going to lose half, if not more, once I retire from my income. So I will drop down to be a much more poorer boy, but I'll be able to live in a comfortable lifestyle, which means I'll be able to have an apartment for $300 to $500, preferably lower than 500. I'll be able to go out and eat when I want to. I'll be able to go get coffee. I'll be able to travel around. And I'll be able to save money. Like I said, I could do this back in my hometown, but I'd rather do it in the Philippines because I hate snow and I hate winter. And like I said, I've always enjoyed the Filipino people I've interacted with, the guys I served with. And well, that's good. I wouldn't mind meeting Lady E as well. I follow Lady E a little. I like her travel videos more than her garden videos. And so, yeah. And Danny there, I want to see him again. It'll have to be probably when I visit Davao, because he lives over there. He doesn't live in Davao. He lives outside of there a while. Him and Jamie, Off the Cuff Adventures with Jamie. I'd like to see both of them. So, like I said, when I do travel around, there's a couple places I want to go and be able to meet some people. Like I said, I can't guarantee Cebu's where I'm going to stay. It's where I'm going to start. If I fall in love with the place, then that's where I'll stay, and I'll just travel around and see these other places. If I decide it's not where I want to live, I will travel around and to check out other places to live. I've told Danny before, Davao is one of the places I would consider. Ilo's another place. Bohol, uh, Ormoc, or Tacloban and Leyte, Cavite area up around Manila. These are areas I know through videos and stuff. So sometimes I know some people that live in that area. You need to get a hold of him and find out where he's going to be. And if you're with you still being there, you can probably catch up with him. Because they're not leaving right away, I don't believe, but they are in Cebu right now. So maybe you can catch up with Dan. That would be nice. I know he would enjoy it. Him and Man Minnie both. Sweet couple. I can't wait to meet them face to face. I will travel to Bye if I have to see them. But they go to Cebu once in a while, so I might be able to catch up with them in Cebu. But I will definitely meet up with Dan and Man Minnie. So like I said, it's. Oh, you just never like Ella. I like malls. I don't know if I like Ella. That doesn't mean, but I want to be close enough to a mall that I can walk to it. So whichever mall it is, that's the one I'll spend time at. But I will travel somewhere else if we're both there and you don't like there. We can travel. I can travel somewhere else to meet up with you, your son, and then hopefully your husband will be with you. I'll meet up with the three of you, or your Asma. But if not, just you and your son, that's fine. I think Mertz, I think she lives in Cebu area. I'm going to have to go somewhere to meet up with Elvie sometime, her and Simple E. That's her boyfriend. And like I said, I know Lady E goes to Cebu once in a while, so I can always hope to catch up with her in Cebu. But, it's too far out right now with no firm date. Well, it's always a possibility, somehow, pal. But I live up around, hey, Toxflog, I happen to live up around Albany, New York. And so, I got relatives down in Florida, but I just never make it down. I've never been to Florida. And so I don't know if I'll ever go. I got cousins that live down there, and I got a nephew, and him and his wife live down there. My cousins live in Naples. My nephew lives somewhere around there, but I can't remember exactly where. They just moved down there this year. So they kept their mailing address up here in New York. So I mail everything there, and they do that. Well, Daddy, like I said, it's a place I want to check out. Whether I move there or not doesn't matter. It's a place I do want to check out because you see so many videos about it. I want to go check it out. Valencia, if I was going to go over there, Valencia would be the area I'd actually prefer to live in than Dumaguete. But that would put Dumaguete close, where they got the decent hospital. They got the Dillman University, which is a teaching hospital. So you have a hospital. They also got an ACE hospital there. So they got a couple good hospitals, which is, like I said, one of my criteria is I want a good hospital close to me. And like I said, Valencia is an area I'd love to check out. So I will go to Dumaguete and I will go to Valencia just to check them out because I've seen so many videos on them. I want to go to Valencia on a Sunday to go to their Sunday market. I've seen a lot of videos on their Sunday market. It really looks good. So that's what we're going to do when I get over there. Like I said, let's say I fall in love with Cebu and don't ever want to move. That doesn't mean I don't want to go see other places, because I do. I want to go see these places, some of these places that I've seen on video. Some of that's just so I could meet some people that did the videos. Some of it just to check it out because it looks like you take Iloilo. Let's just take Iloilo right now. Iloilo is a little farther inland so it's not right on the ocean. They have a very clean river. They take pride in that. They got a walking area where you can walk around the river walk, they call it. And it looks very clean and very well kept up. They got some good places there as well. It's a very walkable city, bicycle friendly. Well, now, so pal, I know it's going to be very hot. I know it's going to be humid. Like I said, I was in the Philippines actually I was there in September, October, November. Not so much December. I left. It might have been first part of December, but it wasn't Christmas. I was. Actually I left the last time I was in November. So it was hot and humid, and when it rained, I just went ahead and got wet because when you walked into the bar, if you wore a jacket when it was raining, you just got clammy from sweating. You just sweat with a jacket on. And when you got into the bar and took the jacket off, it just felt clammy. Now, if you walked in wet from the rain, yeah, you were wet, but it was a different wet. I felt more comfortable. I wasn't much for umbrellas back in those days. I'll probably do that more today. And the thing is, what you got to do, and I understand this, this is what I'll have to get adjusted to, is I'll have to go out either early in the morning or later in the evening, and the hottest part of the day probably stay home. Unless, of course, the air conditioner goes out and then go to the mall and stay there. And I might spend a lot of time at the mall anyway, just to get out of the apartment. But I know you guys get up and around. See, my hometown, we get in the 90s and we get humid, but it's not that way all year round. It's only usually for a couple weeks, maybe a month, and that's it. And but so I'm used to, but it's been a long time since I lived there, so I'm not so used to it anymore. I know Florida gets very hot and humid during certain times of the year. So a lot of people that live in Florida say it's not so bad. And same thing with Texas. Certain times of the year is very hot, humid there. So those people have a little more head start on adjusting to the weather. They're a little more used to it. If I'd stayed in Indiana and I waited till September to move over, which would be the wrong time of year to move, let's be honest about it. The Burr month is not a good time to move over to the Philippines for the first time because of all the partying that's going on. Like I said, Cebu, they got, it'd probably be hard to find a place to stay, especially in January, December. Sinaloa going on. So I'll have to be after that when I move over. But my hometown, like I said, in August gets in the 90s a lot, 80s for the low, and so I back home, the heat was a lot different when I first moved out here where I'm at now. I could leave the windows closed during the summer and just turn a fan on. I didn't need the air conditioning, just turn a fan on. I was out here for first 2 or 3 years. There was only one night I wish I had an air conditioner that I didn't have one. The rest of the time, no, didn't need one. I just turned a fan on. I was comfortable during the summer months for the first about 3 years. Outside of that one night, it was very hot and humid that one. And I'd been here for over 2 years at that time. And that was up around Rochester. So, yeah, it'll take me a while to get adjusted to it, but I think I can adjust to the heat. I will have to take a shower a little more often. Now, I'm going to be a person who wears shirts with collars a lot, probably long sleeve shirts. Yeah, I understand that, Chopal. Like I said, my cousin Paula and her husband Tom, they live in Naples, and they were lucky the last couple typhoons. So, and my nephew, they weren't affected by it either. I think they're farther north than that, but I could be wrong. Now, both my cousin and my nephew had jobs that paid quite well, and they're both retired. And my nephew's only 50-some years old and retired. So that should tell you he made good money. But he retired because of health. And I don't mean he's having trouble with his eyes, and he works with a computer a lot. No, he's not a computer tech or anything like that, but he had to be on the computer quite a bit, and he had trouble. He couldn't really read the computer because of his trouble he's having with his eyes. So he had to retire for that reason. He was a lawyer, if you want to know the truth. That's what he did. He was a labor lawyer, not criminal. He worked on contracts for corporations and school boards and stuff like that. He was a law partner at the law firm that he worked for. He was the head of his department. Hey, Monroe, thanks for coming, man. I don't know how much longer I'm going to go. I've gone longer than I thought I was going to. But good to see you. But so, like I said, I would enjoy visiting Florida. I just don't know if I'm going to have the time or the money. Like I said, my goal is to get to the Philippines to live, and so how much I want to spend on other things is curtailed. There was a time where if I wanted to go, I would go. I was, not worried about it. I can still do that. I do have the money, but that cuts into how much I save. And so I really need to work on saving money. And I'm going to tell you about my past. I was never one to save money. In 1999, I went to China for 3 weeks. I did it on my card. I didn't have the money to go. I just did it. I had the opportunity to go with some friends. I round trip tickets, business, bought them well in advance. So went and stayed 3 weeks, a little over 3 weeks. I had a blast, and I'd do it again. But back then, you could go and not have to be on a guided tour. Yeah, the reason I want the money saved up, pal, is that I want the money to when I get there, I can put the money down for the place I want to live. The deposit, the rent, and then have enough money that if I need to come back for whatever reason, I'll have that money in the bank to come back. I also have some money there for emergencies. I want enough money that I could go for a couple months without getting my Social Security if something happens there. So, I have an amount in my mind that I want to put back. Now I can probably do it on half that, but right now the amount that I want is a little higher, and I can do that in 2 years if I keep working. I'm going to most of the money is going to be in either a checking account or a savings account that I can get to. Right now, I'm leaning towards either the Navy Federal Credit Union or the USAA Federal Credit Union. I know the USAA Federal Credit Union will reimburse ATM fees up to so much. I'm not sure how much, but I know they reimburse it as much as some of these other places. By being a veteran, I'm entitled to join. So once I save up so much money, that's where the money's going to go into. That's going to be my savings money. And I'll keep putting that money in there, and that'll be separate from my Social Security money, which will be part of that will still go into that other account to keep building it up, because you got to build it up because you never know when you're going to have to tap into it. but my and I want to keep so much money in my Social Security account as well. That's another bank account, so I'll keep it. But I'll have to see how the best way to transfer that money. I may be best to do it in reverse. Keep my Social Security account as my savings account and transfer that money to the credit union to get the money out. Oh, I don't plan on investing in any businesses at all. I don't plan on loaning anybody any money. From what I understand, if you loan money, you'll never get it back. So if you're going to give them money, just give it to them, and never give away what you can't afford to lose. It's like I'm the same way. If I go to I haven't gambled in years, but when I used to gamble when I was in the Navy, but I never gambled what I couldn't afford to lose. So if I went to the club overseas, they'd have slot machines, and I like to play the slots when I was younger. I'd go into slots, and I'd have so much money on me, and that's all I'd have. I would never borrow money. I would never do that. And what's wrong with? So I'm a firm believer in not doing that. You got to watch your money too much. Hey, Sailor Moon, thanks for coming. And like I said, I'm not planning on trying to find a girlfriend when I first get there. If it happens, it happens, but it's not what I'm going there for. I'm not against it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when I first get there, I want to find a place that makes me comfortable, makes me happy, because I don't want to move somewhere because that's where she lives. Because she may be in the province and I don't want to live in the province. Not unless it's really close to the city. Because like I said, one of the main things for me, one of the main criteria is I want a good hospital close by. It doesn't have to be the best in the country, but it's got to be a good one. So they can probably hopefully save my life if something happens, or make me stable enough to transfer me to a place that can save my life. To me, that's important. Because, like I said, the older you get, the more important a good hospital is. At least that's my way of thinking. That's what I plan on doing. Like I said, the first month or two, so well, I know me. All right, I really do. When I first moved to New York State, I lived up around Rochester. When I first got there, I loved it. I liked it later on, but there's that love when you first get there. With my job that I was working up there, now I stayed with the same company when I came down here, but the site I was working at closed down. They sold the business and shut that down, and they went with a different security outfit. And so I decided to move down here by Albany, New York. I live right outside of Albany. And when I first moved down here, because I got friends down here. And so it's like, they've been wanting me to come down and live down here. It's a brother and sister I've known. Like I said, I've known the sister for 35 years. I knew her dad for almost that long before he passed away. I know her mother for about 30 years. And I've known her brother for over 25. Close between 25 and 30 years. So I've known the whole family. And like I said, I came down. Her father was still alive, and he and I got along great. He considered me like a son. We loved to travel and run around together. His English wasn't great, but it was good enough that we could communicate. We'd run around, just the two of us. We did it in Terre Haute. We were going to do it here, but he ended up passing away. He got sick shortly after I moved down here, and so I miss her. I miss him. But I came down here because it was like, hey, look, I want to. So I got to change jobs. I might as well change locations. I'll go down there, and I loved the place. I absolutely loved it when I came down there. I still like it, but like I said, I don't like winter and I don't like snow. Now we get a lot less snow down here than we did in Rochester. It still gets more snow than my hometown, but not that bad. And so, yeah. So, like I said, I know when I first moved to Cebu, I'm going to absolutely love it for the first month or two. You're going to let that newness wear off. And then you can see how you start feeling about it as things become no longer new, but routine or normal to you. Because a lot of stuff you're going to do is going to be the first time that you've seen it, the first time that you did it, first time you traveled that way. And it's exciting to me. That's exciting. I love new traveling. I love going to new places. I can't afford to do it as much as I like it. I won't be able to afford to do it as much as I like in the Philippines, but I will be able to afford to do it more than I can here. Uh, but like I said, if I decide I really like Cebu, I'll stay there. If not, and even if I do, I'm going to travel around some to different places. If I decide it's not the place I like, then I want to stay. The places I travel to, I will be checking out which ones I think might be a place I'd like to live. Uh, and then I'll do a week or two at each one of these places, and then I'll go back and I'll check it out in a little more detail and stay maybe a little longer to give it a little more of a try. So Cebu, I'm going to be there for about a year. That's my plan. Uh, so, like I said, first couple of months is just to settle in, get to know things, and then a month or two after that, just so within the first 3 to 4 months, I should know if that's where I want to live. Now, like I said, that's always subject to change too, once you start traveling around. But I want a place that I can fly in and out of. I want a good hospital. Those things are important to me. And so, those are things I'll consider. And all those places I'm talking about, you can fly in and out of. Okay. Not Cavite, but Cavite, you can fly into Manila, then take a ride down. Although I could live closer to Manila, I may even try to be closer to Manila. If I decided to move up that way, I'd try to live as close to Manila as I could do it, and be able to afford the lifestyle that I want. Uh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Monroe, I want to visit these places. Well, that's one of the things about some of the condos there, uh, Monroe. Some of the condos have the uh, generators. At least keep enough generator on that I can use my CPAP, maybe a fan. They have fans that you can get and charge up that'll run on the a charge that you already have charged, and they'll run a few hours on that. Uh, the thing that I want to keep charged up would be my CPAP because I don't sleep well without it. And maybe a refrigerator. So that's stuff you have to find out. Yeah, I agree with you. You don't want too many blackouts. If I rented a house, I would try to have a generator put in, a backup generator. But I'd have to have long term before I did that. Oh, I'd rather lose the power on my cell phone than my CPAP and some other stuff there, Monroe. I have two cell phones and I'd keep two. So what I would do, one's off most of the time. I have this smaller cell phone right here. I usually have it turned off unless I'm using it for something. This is my main cell phone. It's bigger, as you can see. That's my main. Anybody that has my phone number has this one, my main phone. I use the other one mostly for videoing my YouTube. So unless I'm taking a video or doing this, where I can keep track of what's going on a little easier. I don't have it on. So I do turn it on a couple times a day and check. I have a YouTube channel. My backup YouTube channels on this one, and my Facebook is on this. One of my Facebooks on this as well. So I'll go on there. Some days I won't go in there at all, but most of the time I'll go in there about once a day for a couple hours, and that's it. And because I use the other phone the most, so it's just that simple. It's easier for me to do this way. I bought the phone because there was some equipment I had. All right, now, Saval, you said you've had 2 or 3 brownouts and you've been there since April. Does your condo there have a backup generator? Hey, Athena, how you doing? Now, Athena, answer a question for me. You said it's 2:31 a.m. where you're at. Where are you at? Are you in what England? I don't think it'd be Australia because I don't think it'd be that late in Australia. So they do have a backup generator, yeah. Well, the one thing about Monroe and Cebu, it doesn't get flooded very often. So you're in Scotland, okay. Glasgow, Scotland. Okay. Well, like I said, I knew it wasn't Australia because they're not that far behind the Philippines or that far ahead. They're a couple hours difference, not that much. I'm in the States. I'm in New York State. I'm in around Albany, not New York City. I'm hours away from New York City. It's probably, if it wasn't for traffic, I could probably be in New York City in 4 hours. But because of traffic, it takes you longer. So, welcome, Athena87. I hope you enjoy the live stream. If you want, you can come up as long as you show your picture. I will not let anyone up that's not willing to show their face. I've had people come up, make some very rude or nasty comments, and then drop out. And because I found that most of them that's not willing to show their face, I'm just not going to let them up because most of them that do that will not show their face. So, and I've had one guy come in tonight and did that, and then 3 or 4 others tried to come in, wouldn't show their face. I won't put them up, and they just drop out because I tell them, show me your face, and I'll bring you up. No problem. And so, oh, by the way, everyone, in case you didn't know it, some of you do. If you type in LLL, whether they're capital letters or small letters, this is my backup channel. Don't join this one, folks. You're not going to get any new videos from this one. My Nightbot drops you a link, tells you how many subscribers you have, and that stuff. I only got a few videos up. Crazy kid, hey, Merry Christmas, man. How you doing? And so, like I said, you just drop in 3 L's. It can be capital L's or small L's or a combination thereof, and then we'll drop your link for you. Or you can drop your own link if you want, if you have a channel. I'm all right with that. All right, now I start about 2 hours early, 2.5 hours earlier than this usually. Just to let you know, my time is 7 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock in the Philippines in the morning. It's 7 o'clock at night for me because we're still Saturday here in the States. So, all right, now, Athena, if you said you're going to sleep, you take care, enjoy yourself. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. I should be up again next week. The way things look, I should not have any problem doing another live stream next week. Once I start my new job, or my new site, same job, just new site, I should be able to do every Saturday because I believe Saturdays are going to be like 8:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon. Uh, Plus, I had to take a half hour off for lunch. So that's only 5.5 hours I work, but a 6 hour day. Hey, it is what it is. It's more money per hour. Not enough to make up for it, but it's all right. It's about a third of the distance, if that. No, it's not even a third of the distance. It's less than that, maybe a quarter of the distance from where I was working to where I will be working. So it's a lot closer to where I live. And then I have a couple 10-hour shifts along with that. Plus, they'll put me a couple other places. So to make up hours. So until they can give me something permanent, I probably have to bounce to a couple different places, which is fine. You trapped yourself in decorating purgatory for the last 13 weeks. You try. Well, I think I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm a single man, no children. I'm an old man, but I'm still a single man, no children. So I don't really decorate for Christmas anymore. I quit doing that. I used to. I used to put up a Christmas tree, but I'm trying to simplify my life. I no longer have a tree that I had to get rid of the one I had because, well, spiders and everything else got into it. And I just haven't bought a new one. I'm not going to because I'm hoping to move in 2 years or so to the Philippines. And so that's something I wouldn't take with me. So it doesn't make sense to buy it. So we're just trying to get things done, keep my life as simple as I can. Like I said, I'm not trying to find a girlfriend because it's this simple. I'm going to the Philippines, and if you're dating somebody, hey, yeah, there's a good chance that they will want you to stay in the States because they'll have kids or grandkids they don't want to leave. There's some women that be willing to leave, but you're taking a chance when you start dating someone that you don't really know real well. So why do it? It just doesn't make sense to me at my age. When I do move to the Philippines, I'm not looking for some girl in her 20s. That's not what I'm looking for. No, I'm not looking to even date when I first get there. I want to get settled in, find out where I want to live, make sure I'm happy. And if there's an old saying, I don't know if it's all over the world, but here in the United States, there's an old saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Well, you just heard my plan, so I may be making God laugh, and he may decide to make it true. We'll find out. Only time will tell. And like I said, when I get there, I do want to visit with some of the people in my chat. Those who live in Cebu area, I'd love to meet up with once I get there. Give me a month to settle in. Maybe less than that. We can maybe meet up, but not the first couple of days because you got to get over the jet lag. And that's about the first week. So I'll probably stay in my apartment a lot the first week. Just go out or have food delivered. Go out and get food or have food delivered the first week or so. But like I said, when you see me out, most of the time I'll have a shirt on with collars. Not all the time, but most of the time. And most of the time, there'll be long sleeve shirts. Now, there'll be cargo shorts and either tennis shoes or water shoes, like sandals. It'll be what I'll be wearing on my feet. I won't wear the flip flops very often. It's not something I enjoy. I do wear sandals, but they're not flip flops. So, like I said, that's right, crazy. Corey, that's exactly right, man. I want my boots on the ground. I want to find out where I want to live before. And like I said, my plan is before I meet someone and start something serious. Like I said, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. I just hope if I do meet someone and I'm not happy where I'm at, they're willing to go with me to somewhere else. I don't mind if they stay close with their family. That's fine. I'm close with mine. Two of my sisters tell me to go for it. They're happy that's what I want to do. They understand. That's my oldest sister and my youngest sister. My two sisters in between those two are not crazy about it. Not because they think it's dangerous, or not because they don't think of other reasons. The main reason is they're afraid they won't see me as often. They won't see me again. And like I said, I go home every year and see them and my niece and nephew, niece and great niece. They live in Indiana. My great nephews both are living in North Carolina now. One's out of college, the other one's in college. My two nephews, one's in Florida and one's still here in New York State. So I see one in New York State once in a while. I see him at his mom's house more than anywhere else because he's up there quite a bit. And so it just, I'm ready for something different. I'm ready for no snow. I'm ready for living on just my Social Security. Like I said, I could go there right now and live on my Social Security. But if anything went wrong, I'd be in a world of hurt. Now, I shouldn't say anything. If something major went wrong, I'd be in a world of hurt. I have enough money to go over and set up the condo, especially if it's full furnished condo. And then I have my Social Security to live on and save money. But now, if something major happens, I don't have the money to cover that. That's why I got to work a year or two. Like I said, I could probably do it in a year, but I want 2 years because I want more than what I've heard people say. Well, you need this much money. I want more than that because things are going to cost more eventually. So the more you have in the bank to cover unexpected emergencies, the better off you are. Also, I want enough money in the bank that if something really happens that for some reason I have to go back to the States, I'll have the money to go. I want to get there, and if I decide I like it and I want to stay, I want the money in the bank to apply for an SRRV, military retirement SRRV, which is one of the cheaper SRRVs to get, which means I can stay and not have to leave after 3 years, which means I can leave and come back and leave and come back as much as I want. Which means I could maybe go to Vietnam or Thailand to visit. I don't think I will, but it'll give me that ability. I think there's enough for me to see in the Philippines just to travel around there. But who knows, after a while, I may decide, hey, I want to run over and see Ho Chi Minh City or Da Nang, or maybe I want to go see Bangkok or Chiang Mai. So who knows? I mean, right now my plan is just to travel around the Philippines. I'm gonna take this hat off, people. You can see my borrowed land. But anyway, that's my plan. Is just to travel around the Philippines. I don't plan on doing it every month. I do plan on doing it. Like I said, when I first get there, I might go a little more often. But like I said, you got to think about things you don't want to think about when you're an expat. You got to think about what's going to happen. What happens when you pass away? What are you going to do? I like to check once I get over there. I like to check into burial at sea. I don't know if that's a possibility or not, but it's something I would like. So, those are things you got to think about. You got to have the money to cover and all that good, happy stuff. I may even check out Subic Bay again. That's where I was at when I was in the Navy. I want to go check it out, see it. I don't think I want to live there, but I may change my mind when I visit it. But like I said, you got to have your open mind to the possibilities. You have a plan, but you got to have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, and a plan E. E's escape. What are you going to do if you have to leave? That's the escape. But like I said, my plan is to stay there, and if everything goes right, to stay there permanently. If I meet someone, fine. If I don't, well, then it's God's will. I've been single I've not lived with anyone for a very long time. I do miss companionship of a woman, but I don't want to get married just for companionship. I want someone who I enjoyed spending time with, someone who had some of the same interests as myself. But you only find that when you get there and find out. Well, I've been going for a while, haven't I? Crazy, you going to come up and join me, or am I going to close down here in just a little bit? And I don't know if Ian's still here. Doc's still here. We appreciate Doc hanging in there. Athena, we appreciate you coming if you're still there. Crystal, you're always appreciated. You know that. Her and her husband Mark are great people. I love watching Crystal's videos of her and Mark working together. So I know Crystal's got a giveaway coming up. Is it on the 25th itself, or is it after the 25th, Crystal, if you're still there? So just let y'all know. Crystal has one coming up. That it just, like I said, thanks. If I really wanted to save up as much money as I could, I would quit giving out money to help people with certain things. I would quit quit going out to eat. I order out at least once a week, normally sometimes twice. I would quit doing that. So I'm not trying to deprive myself. That's one of the reasons why it's going to take me a little longer. I could still do it the way I'm doing it in a year. So I'm not complaining about that. But I don't take very many trips at all. Like I said, right now, if everything goes right, I'm going to go to a light show, Christmas display tomorrow. I was going to go yesterday, but it was snowing so bad, it was like, there's no way we can do it. But it's free, so all I'm going to be out is get time and gas. But it looks like it's going to be a really nice display. And I'll put that up Christmas Eve in the Philippines and Christmas Eve morning here in the States. If I can get there tomorrow. If I can't get there tomorrow, then I won't be able to do it because they're not open on Mondays and Tuesdays. So I'd have to go on Christmas Day and put it up the day after Christmas. Our day of Christmas here and the day after Christmas in the Philippines. So I want to try to do it tomorrow. And some friends talking about maybe going with me. But all I got to do is, like I said, I'll just drive over. It's maybe a half-hour drive there and a half-hour drive back. Maybe a half-hour, an hour through. I don't know how big it is. But from what I see, it was nice lights. The Christmas display. So we'll go get that. I got a video coming out next week. It's just showing you. I bought about like this and about that wide, about like that. It's something you can slice meat or some other stuff with. It's got a nice wire running through there, and you lift it up and take it through. It cuts real easy. I was cutting up some spam, which I cooked for supper tonight, along with some mixed vegetables and eggs and noodles. I didn't show all that. I don't know how interested you guys are in seeing that, but this is just a short video. I'm not sure. I may put it up tomorrow. It'll be Monday, Sunday night, Monday. And Jeremy, how you doing, man? Are you back? Are you still in Canada? Or are you back in the Philippines, buddy? And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to you and yours too, there, Jeremy. But like I said, are you back in Canada? Still back in Canada? Or are you back in the Philippines? I know you went back to Canada for a while. Man, I wouldn't do. You're back in Canada. See, bro. If I go to once I go to the Philippines, if I come back to the States, unless there is a bloody good reason, I'm not coming back during the winter. No. I'll come back in the spring, summer, or fall, but I'm not coming back in the winter. All right, you're going back in February. Okay, that's cool. Try to enjoy your adventures there in Canada and enjoy visiting with your family. I don't blame you for wanting to visit with the family. I just wouldn't do it during the. But I know you like to get out and ride the snowmobiles and stuff like that. That's not me. But now, when I was a kid, I loved winter. I mean, you build a snow fort. We even built an igloo one year, piled up the snow and packed it, and took some poles and put it across the and then packed snow on top of that and put a little hole in the top so you could let the air out. We crawl in there, and it was actually got quite warm in there without a fire. You just didn't have the wind, and it made it warmer. And we built that at a friend's house. His older brother helped us build it. This is back when I was maybe 12 or 13 years old, somewhere there. But you'd have snowball fights and all that good type of stuff and go sledding. I did all that as a kid and loved it. But when I was in the Navy out in San Diego, California, I got tired of no snow, and it was coming on Christmas. This is before I went to the Philippines. This was after my first Westpac. I stopped in the Philippines on my first Westpac, but I won't count that because I was only there a few hours. But I was 19 going on maybe 20 already. And I was missing snow, so I decided to go back for Christmas, hoping to get a white Christmas. And a friend of mine, Marv Jurgens, went with me. He ended up getting engaged to my cousin, Linda, who he met through me. But anyway, we go back, and now my dad didn't have insurance on me for driving the car now. He usually let me drive the car anyway, but we had like a foot of snow on the ground. They didn't. Terre Haute was not real good at cleaning up the streets when it snowed. So, being he didn't have insurance on me, I couldn't drive in that weather. He wouldn't let me. So he either took me to wherever I was going, or I had to walk everywhere. But I was going to get my white Christmas, and I was going to be happy with that. And then Christmas Eve, it rains. It gets warm. Hey, Victor, it gets warm enough to rain. I get up Christmas morning, and there's just little patches of snow. And that's when I said, that's it. I don't care if I ever see snow again. I've been walking for a week. I wanted my white Christmas. I had it, and then it rains. So I get up Christmas morning, nothing but little patches of snow. Most of it's gone. So I haven't cared for snow since I was about 19. Yeah, I was about 19 years old at that time. And so anyway, the next year, when we go back home in June, and my cousin Linda and my friend Marv gets married. I turned 20 that year. She turned 19. Now the next year, Marv got hardship duty because Linda ended up having leukemia. Thanks, Jeremy. Thank you, Victor. But anyway, we go home, and my cousin George and I, after the wedding, they get married. George and I are in tuxedos, and we walk into a Burger King in Texas. You know, we're getting some of the strangest looks, but we wanted Whoppers. But anyway, like I said, because Linda ended up having leukemia, he got transferred to Crane, Indiana, and that's where he was at when I went overseas the second time. He was there with me the first, and she passed away just before Christmas. So this is a rough time with my cousin George, his sister Paula. Was a rough time with our mom and dad, but they both since passed. She passed away just before Christmas, and so it's a really rough time for them. My thoughts always go out to them at this time of year. But I'm in Yokosuka, Japan when it happens. And I hear about it, but there's nothing I can do because she's not an immediate family. My brother or sister, my mom, dad, I think even my grandparents, they'd have flown me home for the funeral. But for a cousin, they don't do that. So I didn't get to make the funeral. And then a little later, see, I was 21 by that time. She was 20. I turned 21, like I told you all earlier, in the Philippines that same trip. But this is in December. I left the Philippines in November, early November, I think. Went to Taiwan. Was supposed to stay in Taiwan. But a ship broke down in the Philippines, and those of us on my ship were convinced they sabotaged their ship so they didn't have to go to Japan so they could stay in the Philippines. Well, then, because they couldn't go, we were sent, which we would have rather stayed in Taiwan. So I spent 2 Christmases in Yokosuka, Japan during my time in the service. But during my time in the Navy, before the sailor. So yeah, it was really sometimes. But like I said, the Philippines, of all the places I've been, the Philippines was number 1. Taiwan was number 2. Japan would be a 3rd, and then Hong Kong would be 4th. I didn't make any other countries. I've been to Hawaii. I don't, been to Canada, Mexico. I don't count those. You can do those. Minnie, how you doing, Minnie? I'm not going to even try to pronounce your last name right now. My tongue's not working. Thank you for coming. Merry Christmas. You pronounce that Omido? Minnie Omido? I'm not sure if I mispronounced it. I'm sorry, but it looks like Omido to me. So Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We're glad you made it. I've been going for over 3 hours. Whoa. Anybody want to come up? But yeah, it was like I said, I do look forward to no longer spending time in winter. Like I said, my hatred of winter is one of the reasons I can move to Florida. I can move to Texas. There's a couple of places I can move and not have snow or not worry about snow very often. But it'd be a little harder to do what I want to do in those places. And like I said before, all the Filipinos I served with in the service, their families that I met, because I did meet quite a few of the families, their wives and kids, was all really good people, really friendly. I got along quite well with them. Some I actually worked with, some I just worked, we were in the same, on the same ship or on shore duty together, but we actually didn't work together, but we knew each other from being, like when I was on shore duty, there was only 110 people. You knew everybody. Now, certain ones you run around with, certain ones you didn't. Some you didn't run around with because, well, they didn't do much. They were married, had kids. They were officers. Enlisted don't run around with officers. they were chiefs, and they sometimes thought the lower ranks were not worthy. Hey, Abby G, welcome. I thought that was 6 trillion. Excuse me. Well, people come and go. You know that, Jamie. People come in, leave a like, stay for a little bit, and then bounce back out. That happens quite a bit. Nicole, how you doing, Nicole? But I want to wish the newcomers here Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And so, yeah, we've been going for over 3 hours. I don't know how much longer I'm going to go. I'm starting to run out of tea. That's green tea, no sugar, and nothing artificial in there. I don't do it. All right, Jeremy. That's one thing I'm glad I gave up. It's been over 25 and a half years since I quit smoking. This March will be 26 years. And I smoked over a pack a day for over 27 years, so I still haven't got to that. So, yeah, it's a tough habit to quit. Hardest thing I ever did was quit smoking, but I'm glad I did. Oh, excuse me. So anyway, like I was saying, all the reasons. Like I said, when I was on shore duty, none of the Filipinos I knew, there was no Filipinos in my division. The people I worked with directly, none of them. But some of them I knew from the previous ship. So we knew each other, and I got to know the others that were there. And whenever they had a party, they always invited me over to the house. They'd have a party at their house. And I'd go over and I'd party with them and meet the wife and kids. And I always thought that was very nice of them because they didn't have to invite me. I didn't work with them. We just knew each other from the Dixie, actually, my first ship, the ship I went to the Philippines on. So like I said, they didn't really have to invite me, but they did. Now, did you ever see the movie The Indianapolis with Stacy Keach, I believe? I think he's the one that played the captain. And that's the story about the Indianapolis USS Indianapolis is a true story. Now, for those of you that don't know this story, the USS Indianapolis is the one that delivered the bomb. I believe it was to Midway. I could be wrong. They took the atom bomb that was dropped on Japan. They took the bomb there, and they were on their way back after delivering the bomb, and they were sunk. And because of the mission, they weren't allowed to make contact with anybody. And they were over a week late before they even started looking for them. And a lot of people, because of the time it took for them to look for them, died from either drowning or sharks. And because the sharks just started following them. And so they court-martialed the captain. And I think, like I said, I want to say it was Stacy Keach who played the captain. They court-martialed him and blamed him for the incident. And I think he was kicked out of the service. And he later on, I believe, now the guys that served with him didn't blame him. That was the military that did that, the Navy. And I think they were covering their own backsides. And I think he ended up committing suicide, if I remember right. I could be wrong. But I think later on he was cleared. But like I said, he was under orders not to make contact there because it was a secret mission. And like I said, they were over a week late before they even started looking for him. And so, But you know that was a sad story when you talk about sharks. I I don't know if you know this about the military, the Navy. There's a thing called shellback and polywalk. I'm a polywalk. All right. Now, to be a shellback, you have to cross the international equator by ship and go through initiation. I never crossed the equator. All right. So you have to go across the equator, go through the initiation, and then you become a shellback. Well, like I said, my ships never crossed when I was on them. But anyway, my older brother, he crossed the equator, went through the initiation show. He was a shellback. I'm a polywog. And it used to be what they would do in the older days. They used to throw the sailors overboard the ship and they had to go swimming in the ocean after they crossed the equator. Well, that got to be a little dangerous because of sharks and stuff like that. So they quit doing that. So they started making them crawl through stuff and some other different stuff. And I can't tell you everything because I don't know everything because I never went through it. Hey, Madeline, how you doing, Madeline? Thank you for coming. And so, but like I said, yeah, they used to throw them over. They had to throw them overboard to go swimming in the ocean. I guess too many got attacked by sharks, so they quit. They outlawed that initiation, and they came up with some other stuff. And they outlawed that before my brother ever went through it. And so he went through the other, and I guess it was pretty grimy. But my brother, when he went through it, the XO, that's a second in command of the ship. No matter what size ship, whoever's second in command is considered an XO. It could be an ensign or it could be a captain. A captain's the same thing as a colonel, full world colonel. So it doesn't matter. Whoever's the second person in charge is the XO, the executive officer. Well, the XO on his ship had never been across the equator either. So he had to go through the same initiation at the time my brother went through it. And he said he was kind of glad because the XO was behind him. So they took it a little easier on the ones in front of the XO. It was a little harder on the XO. But, you know, I would have loved to cross the equator. I would have loved to do that. When he crossed the equator, they went through the Panama Canal after that. And I'd love to do that as well, go through the Panama Canal on a cruise. I'll never do it, but I would love to do it. Like I said, I got to prioritize what I spend my money on. And when he went through the canal, they pulled into San Diego. Now, the day they pulled into San Diego was the day I graduated from boot camp. I didn't know he was going to be there. All right. So he took a movie of my graduation. He didn't get the whole thing, but he got quite a bit of it. I don't know whatever happened to it. But after my graduation, I go back to my barracks, my compartment or whatever you want to call it in the Navy. It was more of a compartment. Yeah, Jeremy, I'd love to go through the canal though. But anyway, I get the word that I've got a visitor at RNO, recruitment and receiving, recruitment organization, something like that, receiving organization. And that's where visitors come in when you graduate. So I go over there. I don't know who's there. I didn't know if my parents drove out from Indiana, which is, believe me, that would have been a heck of a drive. That's about 3 days. But knowing my dad, it was a possibility. I didn't think so. So I go down there, and it turns out it's my brother. So he's in uniform, dress blues. I'm in my dress blues, and we're talking. And a chief and a officer walks by. Well, as a boot camp, in boot camp, you're supposed to you salute petty officers and above. Once you're in out of boot camp, like my brother, you only salute officers. You don't salute petty officers. So we both saluted because, like I said, there was an officer there. And my brother says, I'm only saluting that officer. I said, that's the only one I care to salute. So my company commander. That's what they call the drill instructor in the Navy. They call them company commanders. He sees me talking with my brother and sees my brother's in the Navy. He comes over and he tells Jim, he says, look, we got some extra tickets. We're going to Disneyland on Sunday. If you like to go, you have to be in your dress blues. You need to be here by the such and such time. We got a free ride up there and you'll have a free ticket to get in. So my brother told him he'd be there, and he was. So he went to Disneyland with me and my boot camp company. And again, he took some videos of that, and I wish I knew where that was at. And so he was on his way to Hawaii. He was going to be home ported in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. So I said something to him about pulling brother duty. And he says, look, he says, I got a great duty station. He says, my ship goes out to sea a lot. He says, why don't you see what you get? And if you don't like it, you only have to wait a year, and then you can pull brother duty with me. But if you get something better, I can pull brother duty with you a lot quicker. So I said, okay, that's what I'll do. Well, my home port was San Diego, not quite as nice as Pearl Harbor, but still a pretty nice place to be. And I got the tender, the Dixie, USS Dixie AD-14. Well, my ship didn't go out and play war games. Our work was in port, so I had the better duty. So he pulled brother duty with me. He made part of the second Westpac with me. And I say part because it turned out he was sick. He had what they call hyperactive thyroids, which he could eat a 7-course meal and an hour later be starving, and he was losing weight. He couldn't put weight on. He couldn't keep it on. It was because he just had all this energy that his thyroid was creating. And so they sent him back to San Diego for treatment. They got that straightened out. And then he went to Great Lakes, as we called it, Great Mistakes, which is in Illinois. It's a naval base there. And he was there till he got out. But so we did serve together. He was in the Philippines with me when that happened, when they discovered what was wrong and sent him back to the States. But so we were together for maybe 6 months, maybe a year. I don't think it was even a year. But it was close to a year, though. It was over 6 months. It was close to a year. And so he got on the ship in December of 74, was it, or 73? And then it was like September, October the following year. So it was like 9-10 months, not quite a year. I was a ship serviceman, Jamie. It's a rate that no longer exists. Believe it or not, I was a jack of all trades and master of none. I worked in the Navy candy store on ship. I was a barber. I worked in the laundry. I worked in the storerooms and kept track of all the supplies and distributed them and reordered. There's different jobs I did at different times. On shore duty, I had 4 different jobs I did every day. I would start off at the Navy Exchange and help restock the shelves. From there, I'd go fill up all the vending machines, including the beer machine. From there, I'd go to the gas station, open the gas station. I'm trying to remember, it was about an hour, maybe 2 hours. I want to say an hour and a half. Then after the gas station, I'd go to the barber shop, and that's where I finished today at. I did all those jobs every day of the week that I worked. I worked 5 days a week. So nothing glamorous. That's good. That pays good though, Jamie. That pays good money. And so I enjoyed my time in the Navy. The thing I enjoyed the most was the fellowship. Yeah, like I said, you got close with the people you served with. You go out to sea for 27 days, And you got close to not everybody because I was on a ship of about 1,000 people. The Dixie was a very large ship, but you got close with quite a few people, and it was good. Everybody you worked with, you got real close with, and then you got close with people that you had more in common with, like Chris. He was a storekeeper. I was a ship serviceman, so we were in related type fields. Matter of fact, like I said, ship servicemen no longer exist. What happened is they rolled them into the storekeepers. They combined them. The reason for that was because they never had enough storekeepers. They were always short of storekeepers. But they was overly abundant ship servicemen. And so by combining the two, they took care of the problem. A friend of mine, Marv, I told you about Marv, who was married to my cousin until she passed away. And Marv, after she passed away, re-signed up, then got out, then went back in. And Marv was a chef serviceman as well. Marv retired as an E4, which is very hard to do because what they a lot of times do, if you don't make rate after so long, they make you get out. But with the ship servicemen and some other people, they can't do that if there's no advancements available. So what Marv always did, he would P&A. P&A means pass but not advance. You have to take a written test every so often, and he always P&A'd it, pass but not advance. It just wasn't open. If he could have made E5, he could have got out of the rate and went into something else, which is what he wanted to do. But you have to make E5, and he can never make E5. So he did 20 years as an E4. And he retired, and last I heard, he was back in, I want to say Iowa, but it might have been Nebraska because he lived in both areas at one time. But he moved back there with his second wife and their kids. Thanks, Jamie. There you go, 7 trillion now. We're doing well. Picked up an extra trillion. But so yeah, and now Chris, he got out after, I think he only did 3 years, but he moved back to Washington State for a while. He was trying to remember, I want to say Everett, Washington State, but I can't remember that for sure. And about the time I was to get transferred to shore duty, going to shore duty in Washington State, he moved back to San Diego because that's where his wife was from. At the time, it was his live-in girlfriend. That's where she was from, and they decided to move back close to her family. And they ended up staying there. The last I heard, he's still there. They finally got married, but I haven't heard from him for a while either. So he's in his mid-60s. So he may be retired or whatever. I haven't heard anything for a while. But yeah, so he moved back, and so him and Marv came back in, re-enlisted before I left. And he got there just before I left as well. And that's because of after Linda died, not where he got out and then went back in. He was supposed to got out, but re-enlisted. He ended up doing 7 years, got out for a few years, and went back in. This is after he re-enlisted because of Linda. Linda passed away, and his time was up, and he decided to stay in longer. And he ended up on a tender as well, but he ended up on the Prairie, which was the sister ship of the Dixie. So we got to see each other a few times, and then I was off running somewhere else. But that's the way it goes. The military, you get to know a lot of people, but sometimes you run into them again. Sometimes you never see them again. Take Tabor. I can't remember Tabor's first name. We were together on the Dixie for a while. And then I got transferred to the Long Beach, which is in dry docks in Washington State. And Tabor was on that ship, so I got to see him again. some other people that happened too. I was on the Dixie with Jones. I'm trying to think of his first name. Can't think of it. I can look at but Jonesy and I worked together. Now Tabor was in a different department, but we knew each other. He was a storekeeper like Chris was, but Jonesy was a ship serviceman like myself. And when I went to shore duty, Jonesy was there. So I got to know Jonesy again, and so we worked together again. So, like I said, that happens in the military. I hadn't seen Jonesy at that time for 2 or 3 years. Because like I said, I went to a couple different ships. He was a couple of other places. It was on shore duty where we met up again. And like I said, there's sometimes you get to be really close with people that you don't see again. There was Dell Reed. Dell, I don't remember where Dell was from originally, but him and Steve Scheid used to run around a lot together. They were shipmates with me on my first ship. I get out of the Navy, go back to Terre Haute, and I go to this record store to check out some records. And who happens to be there? Dell Reed. And he's not from Terre Haute, but he was there with his girlfriend. So we got to see each other for a while. Then he was off somewhere else. Him and his girlfriend broke up, and he went somewhere else. I don't know where. But that happens in life as well. So you go through what you can, do what you can, and try to enjoy yourself. I work security myself. I'm 71. I still work full time. I got my Social Security naturally. I'm at 71, but I took it before 71. So I plan on continuing to work for at least another year from February, if not 2 years. I'd like to go 2 years, but I may decide I can't take it and retire after another year. I'm not going to, my mother turns 99 next month. I'm not going anywhere till after she passes. If you ask her, she doesn't want to see 100. But like I told her, that's up to the good Lord, because I know, but I don't want to see 100. So she hopes he takes her before then. Thank you again, Jamie. I appreciate it. So, like I said, right now, I want, like I said, with what I got, if I quit working with what I got coming in, I can live in the Philippines comfortably. But you don't have the money for emergencies right now. I got enough money to go over there, set myself up in a nice place, and live comfortably. But if something happens where you have to go to the hospital and you got to spend or if something happens and you have to come back, that's where I would run into trouble. And so I want to work another year minimum, so I'll have enough money that if something happens, I'll have the money. That's to take care of medical emergencies over there, or money to come back, or both. Actually, it'll be if everything goes right, it'll be enough money for both, and I can do that in a year. But you're also pushing yourself, because what happens if your money doesn't come in for a month or two? I've heard where people had trouble getting to Social Security for a few months for some reason. So that could put you in a bind. So that's why I'm thinking 2 years, because then I'll have enough money to go at a few months without a check coming in, and still have the money for emergencies and to be able to come back to the States if I need to. That money will not be used for anybody but me, because like I said, it's something I have to have. I mean, you get sick in the Philippines, and everyone that lives there, like, well, Jamie just stepped outside, but if Danny's still here, or Minnie, she wants, she can tell you, in the Philippines, they won't let you out of the hospital if you don't pay your bill. So you got to have the money for the bill, or you have a very hard time getting out of there. And you got to pay for your medicine. That's not included in that. And then also, if you're going to be there overnight, you need somebody to stay there with you. So you may want to hire one of the off-duty nurses to go get your food or go get your medicine and stuff like that. These are things you got to think about. You got to have the money for that. Because like I said, I'm single. I'm not going, I won't have a girlfriend or wife when I first get over there. I'm not looking for that. If it happens, but it won't happen when I first get there. So, like I said, what happens if you don't get your money for a couple of months? What happens if you have to go? So you got to have money in the bank, and you got to have it enough to handle some of those things. I've heard estimates of 5,000, 10,000. I'm not going to say what I'm going for, but I guarantee you it'll be enough that I will feel comfortable. That's all I care about. You may not feel comfortable with that amount. You might think it should be double or triple. It depends on you, on how you want to live and what kind of money you have coming in. Other people think, I don't need that much money. I can get by with less. Like I said, the money I'm going to have, I know they say you can get by with less. The money I want. Like I said, in other words, more than 5. I'm not going to say how much, but it'll be enough that I can get by. And I believe that's a necessity. Because like I said, Mengay, welcome back. Thank you. And so it's something I have to do. It's something I won't feel comfortable without a certain amount. And like I said, I want more than that, but there's a certain amount that I will settle for if I get burned out so much that I just can't take any more. My mom's passed away. And be like, all right, that's it. I'm done. This February, I'm bouncing. Because that's when I'll work till then, because that's what my lease calls for. So I got to pay for it anyway. And if I got to spend that money, I might as well keep working, spend the money, and save a little more, which is what I'll do. I won't quit working until I'm ready to come. I'll sell my furniture. I'll sell my car. Whatever I can get out of any of that stuff. There's some stuff I'll probably just give to family. Like my computer, I may just give that to my sisters. They don't have one, so maybe I'll give it to them. Maybe I'll get somebody to help me and we'll pay for their internet so we can have video chats. I'd say, hey, look, this is what we can do. If you're worried about not seeing me, we'll have video chats and we'll set them up and do it once in a while and see how each other's doing. So I may do that just to put their minds at ease. It'll cost me a few bucks and nothing I can't handle. And I also have sisters that may help with that because it'll benefit them as well. But you got to look at these things and you got to think about it. And that's why I say the more I can put back, the better I will feel about it. But there is an amount that's not what I'm shooting for, but there is an amount that I'm going to say, if I'm really burned out, I'm going to say that's enough. It's time to go. And I'll go. But I want to try to go double that if I can. If I go 2 years, I'll be able to go double that if everything works out the way I want it to work. And even if I don't, I'll be over what, like I said, my safe amount is. What I consider my safe amount, I'll be over that. And that's all that really matters if I'm over that. And hey, Cindy, how you doing? Thank you for coming. LV's still going too, huh? Well, I wasn't planning on going this long, but sometimes I just get to rambling and I'll just ramble on. And of course, now I've done longer videos than this, live streams on my own. I've done 4 and 5 hours, so this is only 3.5. Now, when I had Leonard with me, we'd do 5 and 6 hours. 4 was just a normal live stream for the two of us. But so Like I said, anybody ever wants to come up, as long as you're willing to show your face, I'll let you up. I'm not going to have you come up like the guy did. He went going by Eddie. I thought I'd let him up because I know a few Eddies. And he come up and made a vulgar comment and then clicked himself out. So he just came up to see if he can cause trouble and get things stirred up. And so I decided right then, if you can't show me your face, you can't come up. So I had a few others come in after that, about three others, I think, wanted me to let them up, but they wouldn't show their faces, so they went away. And whenever they came up and they weren't showing their face, I told them, either you got to show me who you are, or you can't come up. I'm not letting somebody else up to come up and create trouble. It's just not going to happen. And so we appreciate it, Jamie. Now you take care. Like I said, I do this almost every Saturday. It'll be like 8:00 Sunday morning in the Philippines. And because I try to keep the same time in the Philippines. So right now it's 7:00 here Eastern. If we change our clocks back to where we're only 12 hours behind the Philippines, I'll probably go back to 8:00. I thought about changing it to maybe 7:00 in the Philippines. I just don't know how well that would work. And then have it at 6:00 here. I know Jerry, South Texas, Jerry would love it because he loves early. Because he likes to go to bed early. He gets up early every day. He's one of these early birds. But we'll see. I don't know if Danny's still here. He was here earlier, but I think he's probably gone off to bed. And so, all right, everybody. Looks like it's kind of winding down. I think I'm going to go ahead and end this one. Like I said, it's been over 3.5 hours. So whoever's here, thank you for coming. Remember, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Remember to take care of yourself. Stay safe, stay healthy. Plus try to have fun. And remember, be kind to each other. All right. We're going to end this one. Take care, everybody. Have fun. We'll see you